Delays as air traffic controllers keep working without pay. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy tells Fox News Sunday,
"We have done all we can to make sure we minimize disruption, that we keep the airspace safe." And again, I didn't create the problem. It's Senate Democrats who did.
Some of those flight delays and cancellations are weather-related, though. There's snow on the ground in Chicago with more to come. Fox Weather's Brandy Campbell reports from there.
The most intense snow actually has fallen east of us in northwestern Indiana. This is where they have gotten about 9.5 inches of snow, coupled with 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts.
There's also snow in parts of Michigan and a freeze warning across much of the South. America's listening to Fox.
This is the time of the year most of us are checking off our holiday gift list. Identity thieves have lists too, and your personal information might be on that list. Protect your identity with LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every single second and alerts you to the threats you could miss yourself. If your identity is stolen, your own U.S.-based restoration specialist is going to work to fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Make this season about joy, not identity theft, with LifeLock. Save up to 40% off your first year at LifeLock.com with the promo code BECK. Terms apply.
This month, Pure Talk is supporting Canines for Warriors, a terrific organization that trains rescue dogs and then pairs them up with combat vets struggling with PTSD. This is why I switched to Pure Talk. Sure, I like the unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $25 a month, and you will too. But you will love being in business with a company that shares your values. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Subaru of Gwinnett. You'll love the difference. The Morning Xtra, only on Xtra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. Tug and Los, early on a cold Monday. We're glad that you're here. 404-741-1230. I hope you're wrapped up good. Hope you got some thermals on. I mean, I knew it was cold when I walked outside and I nearly froze to death. But I knew what really nailed it down for me was when front office Lowe's walked in with breeches on and a huge, he looks like he's in an Antarctica coat.
I brought the winter coat.
Yes, right.
Just in case.
That thing will keep you warm.
I had to get off at the gas station this morning.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to plan accordingly.
That's right.
I am very comfortable.
Yes, sir.
Cold to me is when we get down to like the 20s.
Because we're sitting at freezing right now.
But the 30s are good enough for the coat. When it's windy, and it is windy out there.
Yeah.
So get ready. It's going to be a little chilly of a morning.
Yes, I'm not a fan, but we're going to get through it together. We're going to do the best that we can.
You got Washington, D.C. warming up, aren't you?
Oh.
As predicted, huh?
Yes.
That's exactly what we talked about. They were going to get past their election, and then later in the week, we said within 48, 72 hours, at the very worst, early in the week, this would be over with.
And that's what you're getting.
And to watch the Democrats, the hardcore group, the ones that were like, we are locked in no matter what, and their influencers, to watch them panic last night over, what did we give up?
Yeah.
Well, what did we get?
All right.
Oh, nothing?
Nothing. You got nothing. Well, there was the move where the Republicans said they wouldn't fire the people that had been furloughed, right? That was one little nugget that they got in there. But when it comes down to it, the main thing they said they wanted was the Obamacare subsidies, because Obamacare's so affordable, the Affordable Care Act, because it is so affordable. They needed all the subsidies. Guess what they got? None of those.
The comedy of it. It was like your parent. We all grew up, probably, hopefully, when you had a parent and you would say, whether a grandparent or your parent, hey, Mom, can we go to McDonald's? And she would say, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad, can we go to the arcade? We'll see.
We'll see.
Hey, this bike that I saw, can I get that for Christmas? We'll see. The Republicans gave the Democrats okay, we'll take a look at this in 40 days. Well, can we get it done? We'll see.
We'll see. Yes, that was the.
And what does we'll see mean?
That means nothing is happening. No, the answer is no. When they hit you with a we'll see, nothing is going to happen. That is as no can be.
The Republicans said, "Hey, we need a few of you more to cross the aisle so we can open this thing up." Oh, okay, we'll do it. And can we look at those subsidies? We'll see.
Yeah. So we'll laugh at the Democrats a little bit, which is easy to do, because we played that from the golf tournament on Friday. We played that Prima Jayapal, the statement that she made that you and I poked fun of then, when she said, no, you're not getting my vote until you guarantee me we're getting these subsidies. You guarantee it. Don't give me a we'll see, because that's exactly what she said.
What's the nice part about having, I don't know, only needing about 5 extra votes, and none of them have to come from a hardcore person like yourself.
That's exactly right. And but she got nothing because she said, we're not going to open it up till you guarantee us that. And she even said, don't give me the whole, we're going to vote on something you know is not going to pass.
And then to see the whole push from, again, the hardcore Democrat side and the hardcore influencer side, the Harry Sissons of the world. Well, we're going to remember those that went out there and bent the knee. Well, if you just take a look at it, they happen to be from areas where it's pretty purple.
Yeah.
They're voting according to what their constituency says they want. Whereas the hardcore leftist areas, well, they could stay as hardcore as they wanted. In fact, their goal, when the big picture of all this comes into focus, it's for 40 days, the Democrats decided to hurt people in the interest of hoping to turn out people for an election to win areas that were blue states that were actually going to have an opportunity for the Republicans to take them. That's all that they did. That's what they were able to do.
They got it. Okay.
Good for y'all.
Good for y'all. You won in blue state, because that's what we said the minute we came in on Wednesday morning when the mainstream media was painting this as some sort of landslide, some sort of incredible wake-up call to the Democrat Party. No, it's not any of those things. You won in blue areas. Good job. I mean, it'd be like a Republican winning in Florida and then going, look how incredible.
Look what we did. We turned the tide.
It's unbelievable what we did down there.
No, turning the tide is when you win Miami-Dade.
That's right.
All right, when a place that has voted Democrat for the better part of 40 years goes your way.
Yeah. So
we're talking like in a large election. Like every now and then they get to point to, hey, we took this seat over here. Good for you. It'll flip right on back.
Yes, and I expect that to happen with the Public Safety Commission too when it comes, because those will be up for vote again next year. I expect those will be flipped back. That's my guess, and I'm hoping that's exactly what will happen. So we'll keep watching, because it's got to go back over to the House. They got to pass this thing over in the House, but I can't imagine them not passing it over there. But the problem is, Los, this funding goes through end of January.
Yeah, we get to have at this again.
So we're about to get a do-over, and the Democrats are going to do the exact same thing.
But there's not an election on the line,
right?
There's nothing on the line that's going to benefit this other than, and I think again we talk about the big picture that comes into focus when all of this is done. The big picture shows that you took a long-term beating with your party. The numbers, as we said, were not going well for the Democrats. And so you took a short-term victory for a long-term beating. It's almost like you tactically won a small victory, but you're now behind in the war.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You're behind in the war over it. Strategically, it was not a smart play.
Is that not what Democrats have done for the last, I don't know, seemingly?
Well, but they've played the long game for a long time.
Yeah.
The whole idea of what happens in a socialist / communist / statist movement is the long game.
Right.
We'll wait. We'll play it out there with you because it takes the long game. This was going against the long game.
Yeah. Yeah. They're going to fail. They will fail. Dude, just because they have no direction. What's the direction? I mean, lick your finger, point it up. Since it's a windy day, try to figure out which way the wind's blowing. They have no direction. They have no leadership. There's nothing that they can say or do that's going to convince Americans that they have the plan. They just elected a freaking communist and put him in New York City. Well, that's not a plan.
They still have record low polling when it comes to when you ask the general public, what are your view of Democrats? They are record low right now. So what they did is they took that tiny amount of people that are in favor of Democrats, it could be as low as 18%, and you satisfied them to keep them from being angry at you. You went and sided with the 18%. You're like, look at what we did. You don't think we're fighting Trump hard enough? We gave him a fight.
That's right.
That's what we did. And so the remainder of the electorate out there is saying,
you guys are crazy.
What else did you get out of that?
Yeah, and y'all are crazy.
And for those of you that it really actually hurt, which, again, wasn't me, wasn't anybody else, but
the government for anything.
There were people that were out there that were concerned about whether it was their SNAP benefits or whether it was how long their lines were when it came to the airlines from dealing with TSA, whatever it was, air traffic controllers. Okay, glad that's over with, but I hope you remember now who actually did this.
Yeah, I talked to my buddy Adam, who travels a lot for work. He is in leather sales, so he sells to boot companies and just people that make leather bags and all that. Like, you've been traveling a lot lately, and he was like, "Nope, it's been great." He was like, they didn't want to get us caught out,
so we're not getting involved in it.
For him, he was like, I just did all the work from home. It wasn't that big a deal. Is it good to get in front of people? Yes, of course, and we'll get back to that at some point. But he was like, it's been a good little reprieve for me.
Can I give you another little side item? Because I only did one thing over the weekend that had anything to do with politics.
Okay.
So I've got one particular nutty leftist who always likes to tweet stuff at me with random things, and normally I just ignore it. I'm like, whatever. So we had the whole discussion of what the Brazilian companies are doing with our meat products and artificially driving up the price.
Yeah, sure.
And so he wanted to make sure and send over a link to me to be like, look at what beef prices are. How are things going with you? I just retweeted out there and just said, well, I'm vegan.
Bother me not at all. I'm all good.
I'm good over here. Haven't heard a word back on that one. I was like, not really sure what to do. Sorry.
That's the showstopper.
Not too upset about it. I was like, hopefully we'll figure it out from there. We'll deal with it. But that's the idea. If I don't have the government knowing where my goat is, they can't get my goat.
No, that's exactly right.
If you don't know where my goat is, they can't get your goat. If you do not expose yourself to the government in this way, then you don't feel when the government starts having these fights and they put your butt on the line.
That's right. I almost feel sometimes I feel a little callous saying that it's affected me 0%, but it's affected me 0%. It really has. I mean, there's been no effect in it has caused me nothing. No problems, no issues, no anxiety, no indigestion.
Oh, no, I'm the same way. But I think we also have to be cognizant of what is going on here, because we always talk about the yin and the yang, the snapback effect. The reason why the Republicans still wanted to get this stuff done, and the reason why they were handing out money when it came to let's raise what we got to do for the military, not only does that do great for the military, when they started thinking about the tariff policy and how do we make this money available to soften the blow of what is going on for the Democrats, is because if we act too callous, we create more fanatical Democrats.
That's for sure. There's no question about
it. We create more of them that really go hardcore socialists and communists. And New York is a great example of that. New York, the financial capital of the world, the lead city when it comes to capitalism, has created such an environment where a socialist, a communist can get elected because there are too many people there that might feel like, well, they're so callous they haven't even paid attention to me. And so I think there's that give and take that we have to be concerned about.
Absolute balance. But the reason I say that, though, is get yourself away from anything that is government.
If you can.
Always.
Certainly.
I don't want to work for the government, ever. I've never wanted to work for the government. I have no desire to do any of that. I don't want to rely on them for anything, because once they give it, they can take it. They just took it for 40 days.
I have a war chest, okay? And that war chest, I'd like to put it out in the marketplace and do some stuff with it. Sold some properties. This is what I would like to do. The reason why I haven't, and this is where I'm tied to the government, I'm having to stare at the Fed and what they're doing with interest rates.
Sure.
Before I decide, do I want to refi this? What do I want to go with? What's going to be the challenge? So until then, because I have such, I would just say, I don't have the security of where I believe things are going, it just sits there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just one little person. What do we talk about the entirety of the marketplace? That's where you get tied to government in ways that you don't want to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just don't want to be.
But if you look at the last 3 months, though, the numbers I was reading yesterday, everything is actually trending in a really good direction with the economy. And that's something that we kept hearing was, the economy's bad, the economy's bad, the economy's bad. The job market is not great for younger folks.
Yes.
But everything else seems to be okay. The people are spending, people are buying, our neighbors are selling their house. There's a lot that's happening in this economy.
And I think we are ignoring that we are in a cultural revolution in terms of technology. You hear stories about the amount of companies that are shuttering jobs.
Oh my gosh, Amazon, the biggest of the Walmarts.
That is not because there's some sort of problem within the economy, in my opinion. Now, granted, the dollar is falling in value. Gold is going up. That's something to pay attention to. But the introduction of AI is causing so many of these companies to recognize we're shuttering jobs.
Yeah, this is like the technological revolution,
yes.
instead of the industrial revolution.
Like you're not seeing a whole lot of plumbers that are cutting jobs, okay? There's not a whole lot of linemen. There's not a whole lot of electricians that are going like, wow, there's something. I think, no, what is it, the numbers we need? We need something like 1.5 million more electricians in the next 5 years. Like that's where the next six-figure jobs are going to go.
Yeah.
But when it comes to technology, things are changing. And so you can look at these stock prices and say, oh man, look at how this is going crazy. Well, yeah, it's not an indicative of Main Street. Main Street, we're seeing some of these jobs go away because we're in a technological revolution.
Yeah, it's like nothing we've ever seen before. This is going to be earth-shattering for a lot of industries and a lot of people who got degrees that are completely useless and were told that's all you got to do is get a degree. It doesn't matter what it's in. Most people don't work in the field that their degree is in. They've told people that forever and ever and ever, and it's just not been, and now it's finally coming home to roost.
It's in your face.
Yeah, you can't miss it, dude. You cannot miss it.
There's a lot of things we got to sort out on this show this week.
Yes, there is.
A lot of things. We got a few more weeks before Thanksgiving. We've got a lot of stuff to do.
Gosh, it seems like... I always say it. As soon as you hit Halloween, man, it is a free fall to the end of the year, and it's been that. It's already the 10th of November, and it just doesn't feel like it should be this far. What are we, 3 weeks away from Thanksgiving?
We are 2.5 weeks away.
Yeah.
So is this the part where we also thank everybody for Friday?
Yes, that's
being thankful for that as well.
Certainly, because we had a stinking
what a blast
ball. I played with two guys, Los, that are freaking golfers. I mean, these dudes know what they're doing.
You came up to me in the parking lot and you're like, you won't believe this shot.
Dude, unreal. They were making unreal shots. But the difference was, how they always say, these type tournaments, people cheat. And these dudes, they wouldn't cheat the game.
No.
They held themselves. I was like, who cares? They're like, no.
We played it straight up as well.
They played so straight. I played with Gary from Rebel InfoSec. Gary Miller's just a great guy. And then Sanders Cumming, who played for Georgia and then played for the Chiefs. Dude is good at everything. You ever ran across those people that are just really good?
Can do everything.
At everything. He's one of those guys. And then another guy, Greg, that was friends with who caddied for Gary Miller in an amateur tournament that he won. So he was like, I'm not the greatest golfer, but I know this game inside and out.
So I had volleyball boyfriend.
Yeah, that's right.
I also had Mark and Sean at times is just carrying us. Now, these are old neighbors of our operations manager, Scott McFarland, and they jump into every one of our tournaments. As soon as they find out, they're like, hey, Scott, do you have spots? We want in.
Yeah.
And so we had a great time, shot a 59. So we were solid. And again, played it legit all the way around. It was just funny that as we got near the end and we were at like all the shot holes, suddenly we're like, you know what? We're not, we're like, we'll finish like top 10. Let's take a shot. And so that started to happen.
Oh, buddy.
And so I did hear from a volleyball boyfriend's wife and him who wanted to say, hey, thank you. He had a great time.
Yeah. Let me tell you, when I rolled up, it was at the end when you guys were dropping off your...
dropping off our bags?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I met volleyball boyfriend. I was like, hey, dude, how are you? And he was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yes. I'm good.
And I'm like, yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
You are
he needed that
good.
full plate of food in the recovery time.
Dude, which was so stinking good. I believe it was from Matthew's Cafeteria. And they had fried chicken and brisket. And, dude, it was so tasty, so delicious. And just grateful for all the people. And as a matter of fact, you got
Matthew's Cafeteria in the morning. We had First Watch.
Yep.
And again, just to name a handful, Henri's Bakery, when we had that as far as lunch in the afternoon. Again, all benefiting with the Warrior Alliance. Aikens Ford, The Color Spot, Freebird Water, Harris Cherokee Casinos and Resorts, Patron Tequila. Let me tell you, Weber Ranch Vodka, you have a new fan.
Is that the one that they...
That was the agave.
Yes. That
was amazing.
Yeah, so stinking good. They're like, it's vodka, but it's distilled like tequila or something like that.
It was a game changer.
Yeah, it was tasty.
Like, I'm going to go find that thing.
Yeah, it was really, really good. We had some transfusions mixed up. Ooh. That seemed to be the thing.
Transfusions everywhere on the course.
They were everywhere.
And I will tell you for the audience...
And I drank as many as I could.
Because we got... Kimmer that transfusion we talked about at the end of the show. They did give him the mic again, And the first thing he started yelling about was, "I never had a transfusion before. It's good."
Yeah, he was in rare form.
But yeah, he was much more reserved this time around, even though we gave him a couple transfusions.
That's right. And we need to say happy birthday to that United States Marines.
That's right.
Marine Corps. Happy birthday to the Corps today. A department of the Navy, I'd like to point out.
I made sure to tell the woman who was representing the Marines, I go, "Hey, I've got a friend of mine who's a former sailor. He just want to let you know he gives you a ride." She goes, "Yeah, there are Uber."
Yeah, it's a good Uber, too. It's the best Uber you ever had. We get you there really safe. We got guns everywhere. When we come back, Mom Donnie believes government cures all. Next on the Morning Extra.
Get the latest breaking news and insight from the biggest conservative voices in the South when you follow Extra 106.3 across all your social media platforms. Find us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and YouTube at Extra 106.3.
Ho, ho, holy cow. Family and friends are coming for the holidays, and you need some projects done around the house before they arrive. Relax. We've got you covered. Hi, I'm Chris Lalomia from the Trusted Toolbox. With our handyman for a day deal, we can knock out all those projects you've been putting off for months. From plumbing issues and painting to flooring, fencing, trim work, and much, much more. So get your home ready for the holidays and call us at 770-623-3097, or you can always book it online at thetrustedtoolbox.com.
When I first started using a CPAP, getting supplies and equipment was a horrible hassle. It pretty much stayed that way until I discovered CPAPs, etc.com. Same-day shipping on anything you might need, including travel CPAPs, hoses, masks, you name it. Same-day shipping. CPAPsETC.com or visit their store in Alpharetta. So easy, and you could be preserving your health and saving your life.
Okay, who just opened your Obamacare or Marketplace renewal and almost fell off that chair? Hey, 35%, and it's not even any better? You're not crazy. They keep jacking the premium and giving you less. I don't know about this stuff, but I know who does. I go to Steven, the health insurance doctor. I send people there because he's been doing this 16 years. He wins awards for this stuff. He helps the self-employed, 1099, small business owners, the people actually paying for their own insurance. You bet you're going to get corporate-style coverage, nationwide PPO. How about lower zero deductibles, plans that pay you cash benefits when you use them? And he does it all around the year round there because, you know what, he's independent. He's got multiple carriers to quote. A lot of you are going to see that premium go right down instead of up. And in some cases, saving us 60% over that renewal number. He works for you, not Washington. Here's the number, 678-523-0759. 678-523-0759. Or go to healthinsurancedoctor.net. It's Steven, not a call center. Your plan, your savings, and tell him the Kibber sent you.
The future of business in Georgia is bright, and Georgia Power is a driving force behind the businesses and organizations that are vital to the growth of the state. Just ask Mike Plant, President and CEO of the Braves Development Company.
There's 7 power cubicles that power the ballpark and the battery. And when we're building everything with 8 different contractors, and this site's on fire, one of my guys came to me one day and said, "Hey, we need to figure out where we're going to put these cubicles." I said, "All right, what do they do?" They said, "Well, it's all the power and the juice for the whole stadium. We're going to need to work with Georgia Power. They need a location." Right away, they saw our vision, they got our vision, they understood it, and they knew they needed to be a big part of that. And that's what I love about working with them is I've never heard no from them. I've always heard them say, "All right, I understand your vision. I understand what you're trying to accomplish. Give us a little time. We'll come back to you with a plan."
To learn more about how Georgia Power is helping businesses big and small, visit GeorgiaPower.com and tune in all year to discover how they're powering the future of Georgia.
Hey, this is Tom Mitchell, the Honest Car Guy. So things are deceiving sometimes, and it's hard to explain how much money I can really save you. I've saved people upwards of $20,000 and $30,000. I mean, it really depends on the year, the make, the model of the car, and the price of the car. You know, in a $15,000 car, I can't save you $20,000. I mean, let's be realistic. We can probably save you $2,000 or $3,000, but it's through the course of the whole sale. The big one here that people don't realize, the financing. You go into the dealership, they tell you your rate's 9%, or really it's probably 7% because they're allowed to make 2% points on there. We found a better way for customers to buy a car, an honest way, a very transparent way. You pay what we pay plus our honest fee. We even prove it to you by giving you a copy of the bill of sale at the end of the deal. So the beauty of what we do is we don't put you on a car that we have to sell. We put you on a car that you want. And at the Honest Car Guy, you'll save an average of $5,000 to $10,000 depending on the price of the car. Call 1-844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Monday, November 10th. A major drug bust in Gwinnett County over the weekend as the DEA discovered hundreds of pounds of meth in a storage facility. Authorities arrested a 47-year-old Mexican national, Marco Rosales, who officials say is in the U.S. illegally. Agents saw Rosales moving packages into the storage unit and later used a canine to detect the drugs and move in. Must Ministries in Cobb County has opened a new health clinic to help residents without insurance. The new clinic will provide access to many health care options, including pediatric care, lab testing, and counseling services. Estimates show about 1.2 million Georgians are currently living without health coverage. And the city of Roswell wants to calm traffic with a new policy. The Slow Down in Roswell campaign aims to make streets safer and more walkable for pedestrians. Officials are using data-driven strategies to decide where to prioritize and install neighborhood safety measures like traffic lights, speed cushions, and road signs. The campaign begins in 2026. Today's weather, sunny, cold, and windy with a high of 40 degrees. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
Now, something that you probably recognize this sound. It's the flashback sound. We're going back to Wayne's World. Government is never, ever the answer. You know that. I know that. Everybody knows that government is never the answer. They always get it wrong.
Hello, where have I landed?
Yeah, you've landed right here because I want you to hear that you have to be a complete fool. If you believe government's the answer for anything, where we started will be Ronald Reagan. Where we went will be Bill Clinton. And where we're headed now with Mamdani is what you'll hear in just a moment. I want you to listen to this.
Government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
Here.
We know big government does not have all the answers. We know there's not a program for every problem.
We will prove that there is no problem too large for government to solve and no concern too small for it to care about.
That's the grease pole to hell is what that is. I'm telling you. Here from Ronald Reagan, who I just, obviously every conservative loves Ronald Reagan. He's the greatest of all time. Up until Donald Trump, man. Donald Trump giving him a run for his money. But, government is not going to fix anything. The government is the problem. And then Bill Clinton, he changed it up a little bit. Look, government can't solve every problem to now where we are. And Mamdani, there is no problem government can't fix. I contend there's no problem that government can't make worse. That's the way I feel about it.
I really enjoy the Ronald Reagan quote, I'm here from the government.
Yeah.
I'm here to help you.
Yeah. The worst words you could possibly hear, I'm from the government, I'm here to help.
I'm from the government, I'm here to help.
No, because it's going to make it awful. It's going to make it terrible.
Bad idea.
But you see how many people have bought the line of BS that government can fix your problems. They want you to. I mean, that's the crux of everything they do relies on you believing that you need them for something. You don't need them for anything. In the United States of America, you can do anything you set your mind to. Will it happen the first time? Ask Ted Turner. The answer is no. He went bankrupt a dozen times. Look where he ended up. Now he owns half of Montana. The point is that, yes, it will be a challenge, and you will have to work, and there will be ups and downs. There will be mountaintops and valleys. But in America, whatever you do, you can be successful. Do not listen to Mamdani. He is a fool.
I got my tag for my car about a week and a half ago, and it was a great experience. Now, I know that sounds really weird.
I would.
And you want to know why it was a great experience?
You did it online?
No. In my case, the tag office down the street from my home has a mobile center.
Oh, so you just go...
So I just drove right up, handed them my paperwork. They're like, no, we've already got it. It's already been registered. They hand me my tag. I'm like, this is awesome. I was here for like 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, so great. That's a rarity in government. In fact, the part of the reason why, and whether it's your postal service, whether it's your DMV, whether it's you dealing with any portion of the federal government, One of the reasons why you will find that it's slow, it's inept, it's problematic is because there's two reasons. You don't have to reward productivity, and you don't have to reward excellence. Government exists to serve itself, basically. So when you interact with it and you're thinking, I'm going to have a great experience, that person who's working with you, they're not rewarded for you having a great experience. They're not sitting there thinking like, did I go above and beyond for you? Mm-mm. They're not asking you to fill out the survey after you're done.
Definitely not.
All right? None of those things. So when you're told, hey, there's no problem government can't solve, well, are you suddenly going to create an atmosphere in which, I don't know, if you don't do a good job, you could lose your government job?
Well, that'd be a different way of thinking.
Because until that happens, government will never solve any of your problems.
And I would say, even to the state level, because there's plenty of nonsense you have to deal with if you're dealing with state government. It's not easy always. But state government's much smaller than the federal government, so there are the likelihood, the ability that they can figure out, hey, this should be an easy process to get your tag. All they're trying to do is give you the money. You're giving me the sticker.
Here, I want you to take my money.
Yes.
So that I can get a sticker that goes on my car for 12 months.
It shouldn't be a challenge, and they finally figured that out. But again, look at the size of state government versus
what the federal government is.
Just blob that the federal government is.
And as you had talked about yesterday, Tug, you have reportedly 300,000 people that work for the city government
That's
of New York.
That's what they said. Like, when I was watching the coverage, I think it was Live Now, which is like a free channel, and it really does. They streamed Turning Point USA last night, so they do all kinds of things. But that was where that number came from.
How can that ever be efficient?
It won't be.
It can't be.
It cannot be. They have more people, according to Live Now. They have more people working for the city of New York, 300,000, than they do the state of New York at 150,000. Add those together, dude. Nearly 500,000 government employees? Of course nothing in New York's going to work right. You got to get those fools out of the way.
It makes you wonder. And if we ever, and I know we can't continue to flash back because every single time we do, we lose a piece of our souls. Having to go back in time.
No.
You know, and you pushed me from the 80s to the 90s to today. I'm a little...
Sounds like a mix station.
I'm a little bit, yeah.
It's the 80s, 90s, and now.
80s, 90s, and today. I'm a little bit messed up in my head. This butterfly effect is not good for me.
That's right.
But to think that we had a scenario during the 90s when Rudy Giuliani came in and said, all right, first thing we're doing, this whole red light district's got to go.
Yeah, we're cleaning this.
We got to clean this area up. We've got to get rid of this stuff. We should have New York as a place that tourists enjoy being in, that they want to be. What do we sell it as? It's the center of it all. It's a city that doesn't sleep. Maybe we should be that again. And that was the start of it, of just this renaissance of that time period. To know what it is going to be now. How did you get to that point in 30 years?
Well, you elect and allow Democrats to destroy anything that makes sense.
I mean, this is a city that told us what you could have as far as the size of sodas.
Yeah, right. They what was it?
That's where that started.
And they would put all the calorie count. And I'm not necessarily even opposed to the calorie count thing, but they literally told you what you could and couldn't do, which if you're like me, a little bit of a rebellious nature, then you're going to do it in opposition to that just to say I'm not listening to you.
This is one of the first major cities that adopted the paper straw.
Yeah.
It starts small.
The worst.
It starts with little things. You're like, no, what's the big deal?
Nobody's going to notice that.
Fast forward, you got a governor who ends up killing thousands of people, who then gets to run for mayor because of his silly policies.
He was the best option.
Yeah.
The dude that killed 15,000 people by putting them back into nursing homes. That was the best option in New York City. That's how you go from then to now.
How has it gone from we cleaned it up, it's now, once again, jewel of American society. Here's what it is. It's New York. Like my wife had a scenario that occurred this week where there was a company that approached her and talked about getting her to a show in New York. Now, trade shows is basically, what they were doing. And in my mind, I had that moment of the stuff you used to do in New York. Back in the day, she was part of a magazine industry, and one of the things they would do is they would do the window judging. So all the department stores who do the Christmas windows, those huge,
Which are
elaborate,
beautiful,
spend thousands of dollars on it. It's a point of pride for these companies. And her magazine would go judge them and then give out awards for them. Cool. And it was part of the industry. It was really cool. To think that if she was walking around in those areas now, and New York is not Chicago. It's not what we were seeing in Memphis or D.C. Like, it's more safe. But what is it going to become when you have a mayor who's talked about not only defunding the police, but that jails are obsolete, that they're not useful?
And that he wants to decriminalize.
Like, I don't want to send my wife to that.
Decriminalize prostitution, because you talked about the red light districts.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, no, it's not.
He's like, we're not going to,
It's not a problem.
I was like, you are trying to create Sodom and Gomorrah just so you can then end up being, well, everybody here's free.
This is the greatest.
We're good.
You're going to rely on us for everything. It's going to be great.
Now, don't try and leave.
No, because we'll
if
shoot
you
you on the way
leave,
out.
we're going to have a problem here.
Like, it'll start. You talk about it starting small. They'll tax you some sort of what was it? Legacy tax? Is that what it's called?
It's if you end up leaving over a certain time period. That's what was proposed in California to try and keep people from leaving.
That's right. They'll start with that, and then they'll build the walls.
This is what you owe us.
It's so great. You have to stay here. You can't leave.
You had a really funny quote that you were reading.
See if I can find it again. It basically said, if socialism is so good, then why are people making rafts out of trash to float away from it? I mean, it's
why are people building rafts out of trash to float away from it?
Good Lord.
That's
it's so
funny.
good. It's so good that. But when you think about the people that vote for that, we always talk about my sweet Aunt Peg. That's all she has, dude. That's what she focuses everything. If you look at her social media, it is nonstop. It's like almost like if you eat one cookie, you got to have two. That's what it is for her. It just keeps, it's like it builds off of each other, every post.
There's studies that have shown that men of our age do not get caught up in politics the same way that women do. And part of it's also, kind of how you structure your life. There are plenty of women that I know who are conservative in nature, but they let it go because they have their family, they have their friends.
Something else to focus on?
Might have their church, might have some sort of organization they're part of. And so they can take that helmet and put it down. And when it's time to put it back on, you got to win an election, you got to promote who you want to promote, you have this discussion, they got that helmet ready. But it's not the predominant factor in their life. What we continue to see with a lot of these, especially younger liberal women, politics is the life. It is the one thing they go to, where it's the one thing that's like, I have total control over this. Here's how I see it. Here's what I'm passionate about. And you, at some point, just want to say, is there anything else you're involved in that allows you to get away from this?
And that's why they're so angry, because the answer most of the time is no. They don't care about anything else. They have made their entire life what is decided on Roe versus Wade or the environment.
You're just trying to make me part of the Handmaid's Tale.
That's right. And so every thought comes through that lens.
It's that prism of here's how it changes stuff.
And it's upsetting.
Yeah.
And it makes them angry, and they stay angry. And you see people like Jennifer Welch, the podcaster, who is furious all the time. She just won. Her socialist communist guy won, and you know what she is? Pissed.
Angry.
She's pissed. She's saying hateful and awful things, and you're like,
it's like, wait a minute, didn't you just get what you wanted?
You got exactly. How can you be angry?
Because the revolution continues to always have to move forward no matter what. It never ends. The revolution can be slowed down at times, sped up, but it always has to be this cauldron, this fury, this tidal wave of anger. That's the only thing that fuels it. Once you're satisfied, and typically when it comes to communism, the only people that are ever satisfied is the top.
That's right.
The top is like, hey, guess what we did? We got all the power and the money. This is great.
Isn't it wonderful?
And then there's everybody else who have bread lines.
Or empty shelves. Nothing good.
So we've now seen this. I think the last place that they did a story on it was Kansas City.
Yeah, the government-run
grocery store that I believe is now closed.
Yes, it is.
I can't wait to see that story in New York. Because again, this is the one place where economically, if you were going to try socialism, if you were going to try communism, you have more than any other American city. And watch how fast you run out of it. If you can't make it happen in New York, you can't make it happen in Des Moines, Iowa. Okay,
but they've already started stepping away from it though, because he just said, "Oh, it's not free; it's cheaper." And then he went with, "We need you to send us money so we can make this thing work." So he's already moving away from everything that he said he wanted to try. Man, he hoodwinked them.
Send me your money.
Isn't that a socialist kind of thing? Is there anything more socialist than that?
Send me your money.
Send me your money. Capitalism is theft, not taxes. That's what he said. Oh, can't believe it. I don't know why I say I can't believe it. I can completely believe it. That's what communists say. Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. 6 o'clock hours brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. When we come back, Nancy Pelosi took care of those who helped in the J6 operation. Next on Extra.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to Extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, November 10th. The Atlanta Falcons are now 3-6 on the season after an overtime loss yesterday in Berlin to the Indianapolis Colts, 31-25. Colts running back Jonathan Taylor ran for 244 yards, including the game winner in overtime. Week 10 comes to a close with Monday Night Football tonight. The Green Bay Packers host the Philadelphia Eagles. That game will kick off at 8:15. From the NBA, legendary coach and player Lenny Wilkens has passed away at the age of 88. Wilkens is third on the NBA's all-time win list as a coach and coached the Hawks from 1993 to 2000. As for the Hawks, they're in action tonight on the West Coast as they take on the LA Clippers. That game will tip off at 10:30. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Big moments deserve big-time craftsmanship. At Solomon Brothers Jewelers, we've been family-owned and operated since 1982 because we know what it means to show up when it counts. Jaron Solomon here, and that's why we're proud to be an official Tacori jeweler. Each Tacori ring is handcrafted in California, going through 20 elite artisans before it hits your hands. Not mass-produced, not generic, always personal. And with Solomon Brothers, you get lifetime cleanings, unbeatable financing, and the largest Tacori selection in Georgia. Stop by a store in Buckhead, Alpharetta, or Sharpsburg. Visit SolomonBrothers.com to book your private appointment. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, where love is in the details and legends are built to last. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs and official jeweler of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Faith, family, freedom. These are the cornerstones of America and the foundation for a successful life. But today, all three are under attack. Crushing debt, out-of-control spending, and reckless policies in Washington are threatening your savings, your retirement, and your future. Hi, this is Glenn Beck. The only financial advisory firm I recommend in Atlanta is Nicholas Wealth Management. David Nicholas and his team believe protecting your money is about more than wealth. It's about defending your faith, your family, and your freedom. If your hard-earned retirement is left exposed to market chaos, higher taxes, or inflation, what happens to the life you've worked so hard to build? For over 20 years, David Nicholas has helped families right here in Atlanta fight back with retirement strategies built to better withstand uncertainty. Call Nicholas Wealth Management today, 404-890-5606, or visit nicholaswealth.com. Aim to safeguard your future today.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies.
Looking for the perfect car, truck, or SUV? Jim Ellis Buick GMC has you covered. With a huge selection of new and used vehicles, finding the right fit is easy.
Whether it's a Buick Enclave or Envision, a GMC Acadia or Yukon, or the power of the Sierra and Canyon trucks, and the best part, you're never alone in the process.
Their expert sales team helps match you with the right vehicle, while their finance specialists make buying simple and stress-free.
With decades of experience, Jim Ellis Buick GMC understands the importance of offering an expansive inventory that fits every driving performance, style, and budget need. Plus, every new Buick and GMC comes with cutting-edge technology, premium comfort, and advanced safety features so you can drive with confidence.
Already a Buick or GMC owner? Well, keep it running like new with their state-of-the-art service center staffed by factory-trained technicians who know your vehicle inside and out. Start your search at JimEllisBuickGMC.com or shop in person in Chamblee off Peachtree Boulevard, inside the perimeter, or in Beaufort off Highway 20 near 985. Jim Ellis, Buick GMC, we are professional grade.
So, the doc says I have ED. ED. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's just an abbreviation for a condition so many men have. If I was to be honest, I probably also have a little OCD. I know I have a great HMO. Heck, I even have 3 weeks of PTO. Look, don't let a few letters get you down. If you have ED, there's HELP. Go see Dr. Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. He's an ED specialist that will turn your life around PDQ. ED happens to a lot of men as we age. And just FYI, Dr. Deal can give you back the confidence you need to perform on the JOB. So, ready to take the first step? Quit yelling WTF at your little BFF and visit tbtofga.com. Total Body Therapy of Georgia. They can fix your ED ASAP. And before you know it, you'll be screaming OMG.
I'm getting in the game. The world won't be the same. I'm good to go.
Call 404-777-1911 or visit tbtofga.com.
Picture this. You're halfway through a DIY car fix and boom, you're missing a part. It's okay because whatever it is, it's on eBay and it's guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love.
Political violence cannot stand. And Extra 106.3 will continue on as the conservative voice of reason in Atlanta. We'll speak our mind, protect our values, and stand up for each other responsibly. Count on the Morning Extra, Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck, The Kimmer, and the legend Neil Bortz to always have your back. Proud to be the conservative voice of Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. So, huge news. It was a Blaze Media kind of investigation, and they think they've narrowed down who the pipe bomber is, right? So they got that.
As of Thursday night, it was, you're going to get this in the next few days. And everyone who started looking into this basically started to point out, all right, we think we know, but the Blaze hasn't released it yet, and the Blaze is saying that the reason why is they've been asked by the administration that they want to get involved in this as well.
Yeah, so we have the name, we'll hold it, but that's just one of the layers of this story.
It's a massive story, the way this is going to play out in the next several days, because you have to start connecting the dots and say, if you have what has been reported, that there is a Capitol police officer who is in charge of planting the pipe bombs that were left at the DNC and the RNC in Washington, D.C. the day before January 6th.
To make this look either deadly or actually be more deadly, so they would never have anybody question this 2020 election again.
Because by the time we hit January 7th, the news media was running with, oh, and by the way, there were pipe bombs found. Wow. And it really supposed to drive home. Look at the insurrection. They were going to blow up the RNC and DNC.
The Fedsurrection, I think you mean, sir.
And what it looks more and more like is this was all run from the Capital City Police, from a 3-letter agency, and Nancy Pelosi, who just recently decided she's not going to run any longer.
All of a sudden.
Oh. Do you think this is coincidence? As this news is going to break, suddenly she's like, I'm out.
I don't know that coincidence exists.
Not at this point. Not when we're batting like 995 in conspiracy theory. Like the tinfoil hat, that doesn't exist anymore.
It's because we've been right about it all.
You're just getting closer to the truth. Now, here's just a little extra something here. And this is just to point out when you start saying, this is very strange. So there's a woman named Yagananata Pittman. And you're like, well, who's she? Like, what's the big deal about her? Well, she just happened to be working with the Capitol Police. And what happened after January 6th? Well, she was rewarded with a very cush job. Suddenly, she was the California Berkeley police chief. What does that happen to do with Nancy Pelosi? Oh, it's in her district.
Yeah.
So the woman did such an outstanding job in D.C. with January 6th. Suddenly, she found herself in California at Cal Berkeley as their police chief and taken care of in Nancy Pelosi's district. Now, you might say, is that tinfoil hat stuff? Not at this point.
It doesn't feel like it.
Not if this is happening the way it looks like it's happening.
It feels so obvious that that's what happened. It feels like Nancy Pelosi not only is retiring because she knows the walls are caving in.
This is going to come down on her.
And now all this information is rushing out. We know who the pipe bomber is. We know about her as far as being moved. Can't remember her name, but
Uganda Pittman.
Thank you, Miss Pittman, being moved to Nancy Pelosi's district. Why? So people in D.C. probably won't ask her questions if she's way out in California.
Hey, she's out on the West Coast. Why is that? Doesn't matter, right?
Yeah,
hey,
nothing to see
job
here.
over here.
Nothing to see here.
This is the story that we have had since Thursday night that people have been waiting on. And this is why I believe that you've had the caving from the Democrats. This is why you have Nancy Pelosi, who's decided she's retiring. It's as much stuff as you can to keep this from being mainstream news. Because if the mainstream news was actually to tell you that the person who planted the pipe bombs that we know, remember, those are real. Remember, DNC and RNC, there were two pipe bombs planted. In fact, the mainstream media was telling you, Kamala Harris was just in the area.
She was right near it.
I mean, she could have been harmed. Now, those pipe bombs just happen to look like the same sort of training ones that the FBI uses. Whether this particular pipe bomber has gone to work for, because allegedly they're now working with a three-letter agency.
That would be CIA.
Which, by the way, is illegal for the CIA to operate domestically. They're not allowed to operate domestically.
But, Los, that would mean that you're following laws. And we know the people in D.C. do not follow laws.
We're not doing that.
Yeah.
So if I was to sit you down, the Aunt Pegs of the world, and say that the pipe bombs were planted by a member of the Capital City Police, who then was one of the instigators as far as shooting at demonstrators, not rioters, demonstrators at the time on January 6th with pepper balls.
She wouldn't believe you because she's not seen it on ABC, CBS, NBC, or any of the networks that will not report on it. Watch today. There will be no reporting on it again.
Because all of it falls apart. Now, is there a possibility that you could have this report wrong from the blaze? Sure. But when they have gone through the analysis of this person.
And it's their gait.
It's their gait, the way they walk. In the same way that this was done to people on January 6th. They used the same technology to identify who these people were and how they were going to get at them. Using the same technology, they confirmed who this woman is. It's going to blow the entire thing up.
Exactly
all of
right.
January 6th. In fact, when Donald Trump, just over last night, it was, he went ahead and pardoned those who were involved in subverting the 2020 election. Does it not seem like that's probably something that should have happened? I think he went forward with those pardons overnight, knowing this story, this is going to break, and everyone is going to be scratching their head saying, oh my God, January 6th was a crime to cover up the crime.
That's right. It was a crime to cover up a stolen election that you knew about, that we knew about, and we all have had so many questions about. And it drives me crazy when I hear people say, well, I'm not going to relitigate this. Why not?
Why not?
We should be. We should get to the bottom. The people that did this should be held responsible.
So let's say the pipe bomber is a member of Antifa. Should we not chase that person? Let's say the pipe bomber is the biggest hardcore MAGA that's ever existed. Should we not chase this?
Yeah.
And the
say yes.
And the FBI decided, no, we're not.
Yeah.
And why did they decide that under the previous administration and Christopher Wray? Because they knew. They knew it was their own. They knew it was part of a staged event.
That's why they didn't release the 39,000 video frames
that they have of this person.
That's right.
This is all going to come to a head in the next, and it should. Hopefully, we'll get it all today. We have the name.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, can you say it and do it loud enough where the rest of the media is going to pick up on it? Because we had this Friday morning, and yet it was, all right, let's wait. Let's see what's going to happen. This has been in our show notes since Thursday night.
Yeah.
We were in the wait and see pattern.
That's right.
And now, by the time we got to Saturday, it's all leaked out there. And so I can't wait for us to throw out the name on a regular basis. But until we can confirm it out there, you can go on X.
No, you'll find it.
You'll find
It's
it.
easily
You'll
found.
see her.
Yeah.
You'll see her in her Capitol Police uniform. You'll see her in her old, what she used to take part of in athletic gear.
Yep.
And you'll say, okay, that's who they believe did this.
Dude, and I was not as familiar as probably I should have been with the whole gait, the way people walk and the analysis that they use. And I was reading about it this weekend and how every major intel agency in the world, including our own in the United States, uses that with regularity because it is so deadly accurate. Not as accurate as a fingerprint.
It's 96%.
But by God, close.
And when you happen to, let's say, be an athlete with an injury from your previous sport, you tend to have a certain gait from that injury, which this person happens to have it. Also, this person happens to live next door to a person who purchased a pass in order for them to move around the city as far as using their metro lines in order to do this. So it just so happens the neighbor buys the pass and the next door neighbor happens to be the person that their gait happens to match.
96%.
And it took a member of the media to figure this out because the previous version of the FBI wouldn't do it.
And journalists don't care because they're on the same side as the guilty offender.
And by the way, this was the same person that got shackled and brought into because they were parading on January 6th while doing their job. The government already went after them because of what they were already investigating.
6 o'clock hour brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett. When we come back, when the Islamists talk, make sure you listen to them. Next on Xtra.
If you're looking to take your coaching game to the next level, the Atlanta Braves invite you to join the annual Braves Coaches Clinic held at Truist Park Saturday, December 6th. This one-day clinic will include instruction from members of the Braves' current Major League coaching staff, in addition to notable Braves alumni. The clinic is perfect for coaches at every level of the game, from youth baseball through high school. Learn more and register today for only $30 at braves.com/clinics.
It's Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers. In Atlanta, I'm going to be that guy and start talking about Christmas before the leaves are even done falling. Why? Because I want to share some seriously special gift ideas with you, and you should start thinking about them now. This season, D. Geller & Son is all about the magic of custom, personalized jewelry gifts. Something designed exclusively for your loved one that's as unique as them. We've been creating lifelong memories since 1939, and now you can create them right along with us. Whether it's a custom birthstone necklace and earring set, or that one-of-a-kind dream-worthy ring, with your sentiment and our expertise, we can make it happen. Why design it with D. Geller & Son? We're the experts. Add unbeatable value and the absolute best quality, and you have a memorable gift that'll last a lifetime. So let's make it personal. With your vision and our craftsmanship, let's plan ahead and make this holiday season unforgettable at D. Geller & Son Jewelers in Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
Affordable jewelry for everyone is at D. Geller & Son.
Thousands of veterans across Georgia are missing out on the benefits they've earned through their service. The Warrior Alliance is changing that by connecting veterans and their families to life-changing resources and support. Tune into the Warrior Alliance Network, our podcast and radio show dedicated to helping veterans succeed after service. Join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. on Talk Radio 106.3 to hear inspiring veteran stories, discover free programs, and learn about career opportunities available to you. Subscribe to the Warrior Alliance YouTube channel today.
A company that has been trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years has already done their hometown homework, like having the very best people, fair, honest pricing, exceptional customer service, and a focus on high quality work. That's us. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. Sometimes new isn't better, like out-of-town home improvement companies invading Atlanta with their inflated pricing and subpar work. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 SeasonsGarages.com.
This is Window Nation, your source for affordable replacement windows at the highest quality. So if you've got old, drafty, sticking, or leaking windows, you need the experienced pros at Window Nation. You can pay a lot less and still get the premium windows you're dreaming of. Their custom windows are guaranteed to be a perfect fit, and they're backed by the best warranty in the industry. Go to GetWindowNation.com or call 866-90Nation for your free estimate. And for a limited time, get 50% off all window styles, plus pay no interest for 5 years.
The Morning Extra, every weekday morning from 6 to 10 on WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Extra 106.3.
The government may reopen this week. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The stalemate over funding is ending.
3/5 of the Senate duly chosen and sworn, having voted in the affirmative. The motion upon reconsideration is agreed to.
That late night vote breaks the filibuster to set up votes later in the Senate than House. Republican Senator John Barrasso just told Fox.
This all started with Democrat blackmail. Republicans kept voting to open the government with no strings attached. The Democrats continued to vote to keep the government closed unless we paid ransom. And as a result, there was massive suffering across the country.
8 Democrats sided with GOP senators to end the standoff, including Jeanne Shaheen.
Not all of my Democratic colleagues are satisfied with this agreement, but waiting another week or another month wouldn't deliver a better outcome.
The package will fund the government through the end of January, but in a major blow to progressives, it does not include a deal on Obamacare subsidies. It merely guarantees a vote on the tax credits at a future date. Still, the Dems who did vote for the bill say they were able to extract enough concessions to get them to cross party lines, like reversing the firings of furloughed workers.
That's Fox's Madeline Rivera. Those Obamacare tax credits expire at the end of the year. As the shutdown continues and air traffic controllers keep working without pay, there are nearly 1,500 flights canceled and 1,000 delayed. There are some by bad weather as heavy snow falls from the Chicago area to northern Michigan. President Trump's issued more pardons related to the 2020 election that he lost. Months after giving reprieves to hundreds of supporters convicted in the January 6th Capitol riot, there are 77 new ones announced last night,
including Rudy Giuliani, Mark Meadows, John Eastman, and Sidney Powell. President Trump writing in his proclamation that it did not include himself. Critics had accused those now pardoned of plotting to overturn the 2020 election by submitting names of alternate electors.
That's Fox's Sue Guzman. America's listening to Fox.
This is the time of the year most of us are checking off our holiday gift list. Identity thieves have lists too, and your personal information might be on that list. Protect your identity with LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every single second and alerts you to the threats you could miss yourself. If your identity is stolen, your own U.S.-based restoration specialist is going to work to fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Make this season about joy, not identity theft, with LifeLock. Save up to 40% off your first year at LifeLock.com with the promo code BECK. Terms apply.
This month, Pure Talk is supporting Canines for Warriors, a terrific organization that trains rescue dogs and then pairs them up with combat vets struggling with PTSD. This is why I switched to Pure Talk. Sure, I like the unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $25 a month, and you will too. But you will love being in business with a company that shares your values. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Finally, there is conservative talk in Atlanta, Georgia.
Tug and Los until 10 on Morning Xtra on Xtra 106.3. We had such a ball on Friday. We have to thank everybody for coming out to the Warrior Alliance Veterans Day Golf Tournament. It's just rewarding to see so many veterans with smiles on their faces, knowing that everybody out there has the utmost respect for them, and knowing that the Warrior Alliance is there to help them with whatever the need is. I don't think people understand what the Warrior Alliance does, and it is everything. And it's so, I know that sounds easy to say, and that I'm glossing over it a little bit, but it is the truth. If you need, it could be as simple as this, Los. If a veteran needs someone to look at a contract that they're about to sign for the rental of an apartment for their family, or just themselves, maybe they're single, whatever it is. There's a whole group of people down there below us. They're in the first floor of this building, the official partner, veterans organization partner of the Atlanta Braves. They have lawyers, 700 that do pro bono work for veterans. And it, like I said, it could be as simple as, hey, read this. Make sure I'm not missing anything crazy when I sign this contract, if you could fix that. All the way to, I have major illness and I need major health care that the VA owes me. How do I capitalize on it because I need it now?
Your donations are about running an organization that lines all this stuff out for you. Yeah, I think that there's like a misnomer of like, hey, the Warrior Alliance going to hand me this money. It's like, no, you are owed this money from the federal government.
That's right.
But what happens is if you try and go get it yourself,
It's challenging.
It's very challenging.
If you've ever dealt with the VA, you already know that.
So what happens when you're backed by 700 attorneys that are doing pro bono work for you? That's where that Warrior Alliance is there for you. That's where they're the ones that get after it, that their staff starts making those phone calls and lining stuff out so that it's not just you versus the VA anymore. You versus the government. It's now you and the Warrior Alliance and 700 attorneys.
And led by Norman Zoller. He is a former Army officer, incredible guy. He is the lead lawyer down there. He is the one making the calls, making the connections, and making sure that everybody gets what they need. I love Norman. He is he's been at this game a long time. He is in his late 70s, but as sharp as a tack. He was at the golf tournament, played. He's top of the line, man. He's everything you want out of a veteran right there.
We also had a moment that was a little bit awkward.
We did?
Yeah, we did.
Have I forgotten it?
So, as the Warrior Alliance is going through their announcements.
Oh, yeah. I did miss it.
They decided that they wanted to have a challenge coin ceremony for two guys that have been a big help to the Warrior Alliance. And they call up one Kimmer, and Kimmer kind of tells the story of where he's gotten help from the Warrior Alliance and some of the work that's gone on. And they're like, all right, and also somebody who's been a big backer of us, a giant supporter, Tug Coward, everybody. Tug Coward? Tug Coward.
I had no idea this was going on. No one told me about that there was going to be anything. So I had walked over to the putting green where my team had gathered. I thought my duty was done. It was time to go play golf. Turns out it wasn't.
So now I'm the only one standing there.
That's right.
And everyone's looking at me. First off, like somehow we're married.
Well, we kind of are. We're
a team.
We're work husbands.
We're a team, but at the same time, I respect that you have a family and boundaries and things you want to do. It's like for years when people would say, when I was working down the dial, hey, where's Brian Hoyt? Just because I do a podcast with him and a show with him doesn't mean that we're attached at the hip.
Well, but you kind of were. You kind of were.
And so that's the whole push that I now get. And so then, and this made it even more fun, they're like, well, there's no Tug. And Scotty Mac's like, well, because he apparently thinks that we're some sort of like Siamese twins or,
locked arm in arm.
You punch me, Tug feels it.
That's right. Siamese twins like that.
He's like, well, why don't you just give the challenge coin to Los and he'll give it to Tug? And now I'm in this awkward place of like, I start walking over to be like, yeah, okay, I'll take care of that. Because now we're in the awkward moment, right? Yeah. Everybody is looking at us.
Yeah, that's right.
And immediately it's no, I only want to give it to a veteran. And now,
I did not know
and
that.
Now I stopped dead in my tracks.
I had no idea.
And I'm looking around and going like, first off, I'm just trying to do right by all of you a-holes.
I'm just trying to help.
Okay, I'm just trying to help.
I'm trying to dig us out of this hole.
I got my boss looking at me like, why don't you give it to him? I don't know where my coworker is, and now I have the Warrior Alliance getting after me because I'm not a veteran.
Los is losing all the way around.
By the way,
he has done nothing wrong.
That whole driving of the ratings where everyone hears you, I have a big part in that.
That's right.
I'm just here to help.
Yeah, that's right.
So you don't have to insult me just because you can't find Tug.
Yeah, that's right. They're coming after Los for no reason whatsoever. And it seems like that would have been communicated. Stay close.
They wanted to make it a surprise.
Yeah, which was great.
It was very cool of them to do it.
Or, tell me a lie. Hey, we're going to have you close out with we're going to have you say a prayer.
We're going to sing a song. We're going to have you do a dance.
That's right.
Because Tug back. I'm doing a dance.
That's right.
Look at me. I'm dancing. I'm dancing.
I had no idea, so I thought I was done.
And so the funny part was to me, you're like 70 yards away.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just out of the range of the microphones.
Yeah, I knew someone was speaking, but I had no idea what they were saying.
So we could all see Tug as he's standing looking at us as they're calling for Tug, and Tug's just standing there just like, they're
doing
Tug
nothing.
Coward, Tug,
yeah,
and Tug, because you can't hear it.
Finally, somebody goes, they're calling your name. And I was like, they are? What? And so here's the thing. It was really chilly that morning. Our one of our sales people, Erin, she was cold. She didn't have a coat. She didn't bring her coat, forgot it, whatever it was. The reason I had actually gone out there was to go get that. That I was on my way, and then my team was gathered there at the putting green. We were just, so I said hello to them, and I said, I'm going to walk to my truck and get this coat for Erin. And then I got called. Guess what? She never got the coat because I got called back over. It was, yeah.
So I make my way back over to my golf cart The place where that was the happy place. I was just trying to get back there.
That's right.
I wasn't looking to grab anything or hold anything or, pretend that I'm somehow here on behalf of Tug. And so I'm back at the cart and I glance over it, and now as everyone is getting in their cart and everyone's dispersing, now they're handing Tug over his challenge coin and shaking his hand and all that good stuff. And yeah, it's not your fault.
And it was so funny.
Certainly wasn't mine. No, just tried to help out.
You're just doing the right thing.
No, I want to give it to a veteran. I'm like, I'm just standing here doing what do you want?
Help.
I'm just trying to help. You're the one who made this awkward.
Yeah. And when I got up there, they're like, do you know what they're trying to give you? I had no idea, but I was like, yes, I do. I just walked up, and whatever happened, I was going to let.
They could have given you a bologna sandwich.
That's exactly. Wouldn't have mattered to me. Wouldn't have mattered to me. I just pretended like I knew what was going on because I had no idea what was going on.
So for those of you who were there and saw this,
that's
first off,
thank you for being there.
You saw the awkward look on your boy. I was like, I'm just trying to help.
Dude, I don't know why y'all mad at me.
This made it awkward. And in fact, I hustled over.
Yeah, you caught it from every point.
Like they called me over to cover for you. And they immediately were like, no. And I'm like, slam on the brakes, turn back around as I put my hands up like, what do you want me to do? This is weird.
There always has to be one of those moments, though, right? To make it memorable.
No, not at a golf course. Not at an event.
Yeah.
Scotty Mac right now is in his car. If he's listening to us, he's laughing his ass off about this.
Because he's the one that brought you over.
We're just trying to make it okay.
That's right. Yeah.
And now I'm over there like, okay.
That's the great way of putting it. We're just trying to make it okay.
I mean, it was an awkward moment. They're calling for you, and and just to add a little bit, somebody ran inside out of the curiosity of like, maybe he's at the transfusion desk, maybe he's using the restroom. They went to go look for you. They come running back out, and you're like, he's not in there. He's not in there. So now the tension's going up.
Yeah, right.
So there's one way to take care of this. Your work wife.
Yes.
Listen, they're calling for Tony Stark, but
right.
I'll accept it on Tony Stark's behalf.
Right. I'm no Tony Stark by any means.
That's what I was about to let everybody know. I'm like, I will get the song over to him and thank you very much.
Yeah, right. Which would have been the right thing to do.
But they're like, no.
Yeah, they're having.
No, where's the sailor?
They're having none of it. Oh my God, I'm sorry I put you through that. I had no idea.
That's fine.
Had no idea, but I appreciate the fact that you tried. The effort is all that matters in the end, to me.
It's just a little bit weird. I had to make my way over to the Tito's tent immediately.
Yes, I had something to call me.
I was like, I've been through something.
I'm tripling.
I've been through something, man.
I know what those boys feel like now. I'm shaking.
I was like, I just give me one of those lemonades and we'll be all right.
Just like people who get hunted down by the FBI. I would imagine if someone knocks at your door and you go to the door and it's the FBI, that immediately puts you on the defensive. And especially when it comes to, the fact that they already, you knew they had been weaponized. The deep state had already decided this is what we're going to use against American citizens. We're going to use this. That way they'll never ask another question again.
This is the double-edged sword of watching the shutdown come to an end. Because there's a part of us that go, yeah, okay, we got a big win. Now it turns into, but now the government goes to working as usual, and
which can be scary.
And part of working as usual, this was actually you can follow C3 at C_3C_3. It's a political end of X, and it always has just little notes and little pieces of information and a lot of stat oriented stuff. And what it points out is this: you have 38,000 employees total in the FBI. When we had January 6th occur, the FBI committed 5,000 agents to it. That's 13% of their total workforce to hunt down people all across the country. But they couldn't find a pipe bomber?
Yeah, right. That happened in the most surveilled city, I would imagine, in the world. I can't think of another city that would be more surveilled than Washington, D.C. because of all the power players that walk around there every day.
So, yes, I'm enjoying that the shutdown is on track to end this week, and it's over with, and the left is losing their mind at 8 Democrats that have stepped across the aisle and have voted to end this thing, to end the filibuster, and good, we don't have to end the filibuster, which I was very lukewarm about. I know it's got a long history. I know the framers wanted 51 votes.
Sure.
But I have felt that in the era...
Aaron Burr.
Yes.
Right?
But in the era of extremist politics, 51 don't feel like enough.
Yeah.
Like 60 feels like you've got some protection even when you're in the minority.
I think that the problem, at least from Donald Trump's perspective, is we're not going to get anything done because we're going to need something to filibuster-proof everything that we try to put through. And as soon as the Democrats are getting back into power, as soon as they have the votes,
they'll terminate it.
It's going away. So I understand where they're coming from. We better use what we got while we can, because they're going to use that against us as soon as they can.
It's just my feeling of I want to sit back and say, hey, this is all good things. At the same time, I am relitigating the past. I am looking into these stories of what is going on and seeing the weaponization of this country. We had a piece of audio from last week where MSNBC was talking about how sad it was that the DOJ is being weaponized by Donald Trump. It's like, come on.
Oh, dude.
So silly. We've already went through that.
But they know that because they are part of it.
They actually had an author, and it was two people who had worked for, I believe it was the New York Times at one point, and they were writing about how, Donald Trump has wanted to weaponize the DOJ for 10 years. It's like, I understand why he'd want to do it now.
Yeah, right. Because everything that they did was against him. Like, I would be so vengeful, I believe, and people are saying he's being vengeful. For all he's been through, he's been the most reserved person I think I've ever seen in D.C.
And again, when you take 13% of your FBI, and this is what you decide to do with it, which was basically this. Did you vote or did you support Donald Trump? Okay, how do we put you in prison? That's all it really was what it came down to. Did you show up to D.C.? Have you voted for Donald Trump?
That's it. If you showed up to D.C., they tracked you using your gate, using your digital exhaust, using everything.
But they also, and this is the wild part when you start looking at these thousands of cases, there were people who were part of organizations that weren't even in D.C. But if you were part of that organization,
you were grouped in.
The FBI was like, how do we give this person a year or two as well?
Yeah. Because we want them to know.
So I'm celebrating that the government's going to be back in operation?
We want them to know that they better not ask, and they better not relitigate, and they better not ever, ever, ever come to D.C. and question or challenge us again, because we will show them the might, the hammer. What a communist way of looking at things.
Yes.
Are you surprised that the Democrats are communists now? They're just, they've always been. It's just out loud.
So I was enjoying some podcasts over the weekend, as I always do. That and some documentaries. Oh, I watched a good one on Netflix. It was one about this college that was haunted, and all these people were talking about it from the 80s. It was really cool. Yeah, all around like Halloween stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really creepy. It's like 3-4 episodes. It was like, true haunting. Okay. So if you want something a little bit creepy to watch at night, True Haunting was a lot of fun. Oh my God, what am I watching? But one of the things I was looking into was, and of all things, it was Joe Rogan who started talking about how, and it was about Mom Donnie. And fortunately, in this country, all the things that Mom Donnie wants to do, that's not going to be able to happen. I said that last week.
Kathy Hochul's being vocal about it over the weekend.
Because here's what happens. The communist has an idea of what they want done. And you then have this pushback from the community. No, you can't seize my building. Well, the communist doesn't go to court. The communist doesn't say, well, let's have an election about it. The communist shoots you in the face.
Which was what happened in, Chicago this weekend?
And then takes your building.
Yeah.
The communist tells you, here's what you're going to deal with. Here's how life is going to be. And when you can say, listen, I voted for you. I'm with the movement, but I don't like this.
Doesn't matter.
The communist puts you on the wall and shoots you.
Does not matter.
Okay, that's not going to be able to happen. But invariably, communism always moves towards violence in order to get what they want. Every time.
Isn't it interesting that Van Jones, of all people, he's the one that noticed, and he was the first I heard or saw say anything about it. And that was Mom Donnie's speech after he won the election in New York City. He goes, he changed.
The mask came off.
It did really quickly.
Now, unless you have some private police force that is out shooting people, then communism's never going to, at least in that way, you're never going to be able to have that sort of influence. Now, what we've seen is they have been more than happy to try and create laws and to use lawfare against you, because in this country, you can't drag people out in the street and shoot them. It just doesn't now.
Although
we've had incidents
this weekend. Again, the Chicago one that I referenced, shooting at ICE agents.
But you are not able, in order to say, Tug, I need you to vote this way, and I need your truck. Well, you can't have my truck. Fine, bang, took your truck, and nobody says anything about it.
Right.
I was like, no, there's consequences for that. The communist operates the communist operates in an area where there are no consequences for their actions.
You say there's not right now. If they continue to grow, if that continues to grow, and God forbid that it does,
well, then the civil society is completely over. And in some places, it might be. We'll see.
Do you think they would be upset with that? Do you think Mamdani would be upset with that at all?
I think New Yorkers, if there were private police were shooting people in the street over what they wanted, there would be an uprising of people that would have a problem with it.
Mamdani.
Oh, of course not.
Just fine with it.
The lead communist never has a problem with it.
Exactly right. That's the point. Morning Xtra and Xtra 106.3. When we continue, the silent assassin Scott Bessent drops bombs on George Stephanopoulos. I had a Cheshire cat smile this weekend when I saw this. It's so great. Next on Xtra.
Xtra 106.3 is connected to the Atlanta community with the local officials and candidates that share your values, plus the national perspective from the most trusted name in news like Glenn Beck, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton, and Atlanta's own Neil Bortz. Proud to be the conservative voice of Atlanta. Xtra 106.3 FM and the Xtra app.
Somebody came up to me at the golf course on Friday and was like, hey, what was that you were talking about? I have a person I go to church with that is just in a bad way. Their house needs a little bit of TLC. What is it that you're talking about with Southern Exteriors? And gosh, you had the Southern Exteriors team there. You had Bradley. You had Lance. I know it sounds like a boy band. If Los was in here, he would back that up. Sounds like a boy band. And then Megan, who is also with Southern. They were all there. A couple of them playing, a couple of them manning the Southern Exteriors tent on the golf course. But when they asked, I was like, oh, it's simple. Just go to southernexteriors.co. Southernexteriors.co in the top left corner. You'll see the Christmas giveaway button. And when you click on that, they'll ask you, who are you nominating? Someone you know, someone that is a family member. Maybe it's you, for that matter. Totally can be. But they are giving away a full siding remodel. Best in the business, James Hardy Siding. This is an incredible giveaway. It's almost as good or as good as the one we did last year with the full roof replacement. Tears of joy streaming down the faces of the people that we called and let them know that they were the winners. Maybe this time it'll be you with this James Hardy Siding. But you've got until December 1st to get nominated, whether you, a friend, coworker, somebody to go to church with, somebody in the neighborhood, whatever it is, you've got till December 1st. Southernexteriors.co, southernexteriors.co.
Stop dreaming, start driving. Get the gift that keeps on giving with the Mercedes-Benz Holiday Love Celebration at RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Each of our certified pre-owned vehicles undergoes an exhaustive process of analysis, inspection, and reconditioning until it meets the uncompromising standards of RBM of Atlanta and Mercedes-Benz. For a limited time, get special financing from as low as 2.99% APR. In addition, you'll receive unlimited confidence with Mercedes-Benz's unlimited mileage warranty, delivering continued assurance for up to 7 years. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this vehicle and many other models during the Mercedes-Benz Holiday Love Celebration, now through December 1st. Not all offers apply to all vehicles, and special financing available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Services through December 1st, 2025. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit us at rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.
While fall temperatures are cooling down, the action in the stadium and on the field is really heating up. If you find yourself in hot water from too much celebrating during the game, it's important to know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds. We handle bonds for those at the bends to those who celebrate action between the hedges. At A Second Chance, we can have you or your loved one out of jail in a matter of hours. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT. Or online at atlbail.com.
I'm Ashley Dvorkin with a Fox Celebrity Profile with director Michelle Garza Cervera of Hulu's The Hand That Rocks the Cradle remake. She wanted her characters to live in the gray area.
I wanted to challenge the conception of good and evil that are usually, in thrillers, there's always like the victim and the evil one. And I wanted to challenge that, and give both characters kind of like more of a palette of both sides. So that was kind of like the main core about it.
It's a female-driven story made by many women on the creative team, too.
To me, kind of comes very naturally. Like, I love to be surrounded by women. I mean, that it's always very mixed. We had like also a lot of men involved in the production, but I think like there's something that has to do with sensibility, So then a creative team approaches you. And of course, if they've been through those like domestic spaces and they've had those fears that many times women have, they know that have to do with like paranoia and gaslighting and self-gaslighting. And so all of these things to me come so natural for us. I feel like we're experts in the horror, in the thriller genre, women.
Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
It's November 10th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today's the Marine Corps' birthday. On this date in 1775, the Continental Congress first established the Continental Marines leading up to the American Revolution, and 2 battalions of Marines fought for independence both on land and sea. After the Revolutionary War, the Marines were abolished till 1798, when Congress once again called for the formation of the Corps with the official title as the United States Marine Corps. Over the decades, many traditions are observed to celebrate the Corps' birthday, including a cake-cutting ceremony. Also on this date, in 1954, the Marine Corps War Memorial is unveiled in Arlington, Virginia. The memorial is the iconic raising of the American flag on Iwo Jima after the capture of Mount Suribachi. And in 1969, the after-school children's show Sesame Street debuted on PBS. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Monday, November 10th. A major drug bust in Gwinnett County over the weekend as the DEA discovered hundreds of pounds of meth in a storage facility. Authorities arrested a 47-year-old Mexican national, Marco Rosales, who officials say is in the U.S. illegally. Agents saw Rosales moving packages into the storage unit and later used a canine to detect the drugs and move in. Must Ministries in Cobb County has opened a new health clinic to help residents without insurance. The new clinic will provide access to many health care options, including pediatric care, lab testing, and counseling services. Estimates show about 1.2 million Georgians are currently living without health coverage. And the city of Roswell wants to calm traffic with a new policy. The Slow Down in Roswell campaign aims to make streets safer and more walkable for pedestrians. Officials are using data-driven strategies to decide where to prioritize and install neighborhood safety measures like traffic lights, speed cushions, and road signs. The campaign begins in 2026. Today's weather, sunny, cold, and windy with a high of 40 degrees. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
Tug and Los until 10. Your business here. You could do that, bringing you the 7 o'clock hour. We don't have a sponsor here. Why not let it be your business? If you want to work with Extra, we have the most loyal and longest listening listeners in the market. They spend more time on the station than anybody else, and it's like 3 times more.
It's known as TSL, time spent listening in the industry. You can call, you can check into it. It's the highest in the entire marketplace. We have our listeners that are well over 30 minutes, and that's freaky.
It's usually 8.
Yeah.
Kind of gives you an idea.
A lot is 11 or 12.
Yeah.
We're well over 30.
Yeah, it's nuts. So if you want to be in front of the most loyal listeners and the people that care and share your values, then 404-741-1230 is the number, and we'll get you connected with Colin Wheat, who leads the sales effort here. And that's the thing about Extra that's kind of special that I've never run into in any other radio station that I've worked with, is that sales and programming work together hand in glove. The listeners are involved in a lot of the things that we do, and everybody shares the same values, which is almost unheard of.
And we really customize everything according to what you want. So if there happens to be a feature, if you happen to look for an hourly, if you're looking for spots, like we do a little bit of everything.
That's right. That digital side too?
Digital side too. It's pretty wild.
Fact. Yeah, so there's a lot of opportunity here, 404-741-1230. Scott Bessent, my favorite person in the administration. I like to call him the silent assassin because he comes off so just even.
He's the opposite of Stephen Miller. They're equally effective.
That's
Miller's
right.
in your face.
That's
Bessent
right.
just kind of lets you know.
That's right. And he's so even keeled about it. And he man, did he drop a bomb on George Stephanopoulos, dude.
If you wanted to do like some parody of Scott Bessent, but play into everything that he's not, then you'd probably have a man who suddenly gets very loud in your face and starts clapping at you while he's talking, clapping at you while he's talking.
Right.
Because that's not how he operates. It is.
But the things he says make that same effect.
But they're stinging.
Yeah, that's right.
They're painful. And this is what I say about the Trump administration with the selection of whether it's J.D. Vance, whether you're talking about Marco Rubio. Now that DeSantis seems to be really kind of growing into this, hey, what is he going to do after Florida? Like, it's getting interesting there.
Yeah, sure.
All of them have the needle. And what's the needle? Like, I found out about the needle when I worked 20-some years ago in Dallas. Bill Parcells always had the needle. And he would talk to you. He would tell you what you needed to know, but he always had the needle, which was, now I'm going to plug you a little bit so it, like, gets to you. Like, for instance, there was one player, he's now on ESPN, and he would call him Fats Domino. Wouldn't call him by his name, Marcus Spears. If you follow SEC Network or ESPN, Marcus Spears is a name you know.
Right, and I like Marcus
Spears, a really sharp, fun guy, smart guy. He wouldn't call him Marcus Spears. He'd call him Fats Domino. But why'd he call him that? Well, he said, he showed up to training camp at 3:03. He wanted him at 3:01. So he was 2 pounds heavy, and he wouldn't call him Marcus until he dropped 2 pounds.
Oh, man.
That's the needle.
That's intense.
That's the needle. That's like how you get your point across. Well, I tell you, Scott Bessent brings the needle everywhere he goes. He's got it ready for you. If you play it straight, you don't get the needle. If you ask the question, you don't get the needle. If you want to question the man in a way that he doesn't consider fair, he's going to give you the needle. This happens to be a discussion of the shutdown that is now ending. And George Stephanopoulos, a guy who has spent time in an administration with Bill Clinton as one of the architects of the Clinton administration, he actually had in his book about what it's like to work with terrorists on the other side.
And he's referring to Republicans.
Scott Bessent had made the point to read his book before going on his show and didn't say anything to him about it until he needed the needle.
And continues to post about ending the filibuster. Is that the best way to end the shutdown right now? Is that what the administration's position is?
No, George, the best way to do it. And look, you were involved in a lot of these in the 90s, and you basically called the Republicans terrorists, and you said that it is not the responsible party that keeps the government closed. And so what we need is 5 brave, moderate Democratic senators to cross the aisle, because right now it is 52 to 3. 5 Democrats can cross the aisle and reopen the government. That's the best way to do it, George.
I can disagree with you about the history there, but we don't need a history lesson right now.
George, let's talk
about what's happening right now.
If you want, I've got all your quotes here. George.
I'm sure you do.
But
let's talk about the situation right now.
Read your book, so you got one purchase on Amazon this week, and that's very much what you said.
That's so good, dude.
That's the needle.
That's so good.
Stephanopoulos tries to run from what he had written.
I'm sure you do.
And as he's trying to backpedal out of it, because now the interview's about Stephanopoulos and what he has said in the past. And here is Bessent basically telling him, listen, I got your quotes. I bought your book. You got one purchase on Amazon this week. And you said the party that is responsible for shutdowns is the one that's out of power.
It irritates me when the administration shows up on networks that I know they're going to be treated poorly. You know what I mean? So because I know they're going to set them up for failure.
So I think it's about who you send.
That's right. That's exactly right. And Scott Bessent goes in there so prepared, the silent assassin. That's why I call him that, because he was so set. He knew what was coming, and he was able to combat it by just doing nothing more than using Stephanopoulos' own words against him.
I could have used logic. Instead, I'll use what you've said.
That's right.
I'll use what you've written.
Because you're not going to let me use logic. You're not going to let me get a word in edgewise. And when Stephanopoulos knew what was coming, because he did.
He knows I'm now the subject of this problem here.
I know what's coming at me. That's why you heard him try so hard. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. Backing away, backing away.
Moving on.
Yeah, and then the other is a Stephen Miller, because he's not going to take it either. Everybody else does okay. Those two hit it out of the park when it comes to media coverage.
I love that they all kind of go about it in a different way. And again, it's because they're all good at television. Rubio's great at television. J.D. Vance is great at television.
But they're all merit-based hires. It's not like they just sent anybody out there. It's not like, hey, we need somebody, get the guy on the bench and get him out here and dust him off and put him in front of everybody. No, these people are the best at what they do. That's why they were hired.
No, you have a scenario, and this happens in all administrations, where you have to do somebody a favor, and so you do somebody a favor, and that's how they end up in
Not
a
on the
position.
front lines like that, though.
Not on this front group. Not on the ones that are...
There may be some of that in this administration somewhere, but not on the front lines.
But the front line, it's everybody who can talk, everybody who knows how to play the media game. And not only that, the very first line is reject the premise.
That's right.
The premise is going to be the battlefield by which they want you to have the argument. If you reject the premise, you level the playing field. You level the battlefield.
That's exactly right.
Like, why do you get the high ground? I'm the high ground. I'm the administration. You're just George Stephanopoulos.
Yeah, you're a pawn for the Democrat Party. I don't owe you anything.
You got ABC sued for $9 million.
Exactly.
Why are you thinking you get the high ground?
And why are you still on this network? That's the question I would ask. Why are you even here anymore? I want to let you hear from a Democrat. This woman, you've heard from her lately, and she is bat-ass crazy. Jennifer Welch. She's saying something so harsh and so terrible, but I take it as a compliment. Listen to what she said about Trump voters.
I think a lot of the people that are involved in this movement are either psychopaths, sociopaths, they like it. I'm talking about like Stephen Miller, right? And then you've got people that are religious addicts. And you guys, that is a real thing. Like somebody can be an alcoholic, somebody can be a drug addict. A lot of people are religious addicts, and you can Google it and read about it. And these religious addicts, like all addiction, like all addicts, sabotage things. Their default setting is to break things and create collateral damage. And I think even on the Supreme Court, we have some religious addicts. And I think in the administration, we have a ton of religious addicts, Mike Johnson, etc., Marco Rubio. And they think, okay, I'm doing a lot of bad in my private life. I guarantee you Sam Alito's Google search history is full of a lot of all right? Has to.
Dude, I will take everything she said as a compliment because I am addicted to Jesus. That's the one thing in life I'm addicted to. Do I get it right every day? No. Am I perfect? By no means, which is the reason I need him. And the fact that she calls out people like Sam Alito and Marco Rubio and Stephen Miller makes me like them that much more. If they drive her that crazy, that's who I'm glad I have on my team.
Well, first off, she's going through some sort of weird projection of her hatred. I've got to apply it to all the people I don't like.
Yep.
So there's a start with. What I will tell you, and this is much more trackable, it's that we do have a situation going on the left. It's very observable. The polling shows it. It's that overwhelmingly, women of her age and those close to it put politics above everything. Their addiction is politics. It's not about their church. It's not about their family. It's not about their husband. It's not about their softball league. It's about politics. And so everything, relationships with their family, everything starts first and foremost with politics. If you don't agree with me, we can't be friends. We can't be family. We can't possibly sit in the same room together.
She didn't bother talking about, because she said Sam Alito's search history. She conveniently leaves out transgender ex-lawmaker, Democrat, who pleads guilty in federal child sex abuse case and charges. This is a New Hampshire Democrat that is transgendered and is now pleads guilty to sex abuse charges. So she's talking about Sam Alito, a guy that's never been accused of anything, and yet will conveniently leave out Democrats who are doing the most filthy, vile things on the face of the earth. And she's so angry, she's willing to look by that to project, like you're saying, on those other politicians.
I just enjoy that when she talks about, well, it's religious. Well, good. If I knew that there were more politicians that believed in Judeo-Christian ethics and they lived their life accordingly. Now, I'm not talking about in some sort of silly, false, weird way, a Mike Pence way, where you're more Judas than anything. What I'm saying is, when I ask the question, where do your rights come from? You don't say the government. You say they come from God.
That's right.
That this is why they're inalienable. That this is why you're allowed to have free will within this country. That is what this country is supposed to facilitate, is the idea that your maker wants you to find that happiness in your life, whatever version of it is. If you're telling me that these are the people that look to facilitate that and believe in that and look to stay out of the way of that, then I say, good, we need more of them. But there are people that are so consumed by power that oftentimes they'll pretend to be religious. They'll pretend to be part of this. I think one of the biggest things that we've seen is, as far as a turnaround, you notice how much freer Donald Trump speaks about religion now.
Of course.
That he survived that assassination.
Absolutely.
I don't think that was
He's a changed man.
I don't think that was ever going to be part of his first administration.
Never.
Because he didn't want to play into that whole idea of like, well, I'm going to need the evangelicals in order to secure election. It was, no, we're just going to run this thing as moderate as possible. Now it has much more of, in that regard, a right-leaning tilt.
Something about nearly dying changes people. Doesn't matter if it's a car crash, car accident. Doesn't matter if it is
about breaking that poignant moment. It's your fault.
I know, I did it on purpose.
Car accident?
Yeah. Trying to lighten it a little bit. But a heart attack will change people. I mean, there's those stories that are out there that people are like, during my heart attack, I saw the gates of heaven. Or vice versa, I saw the gates of hell.
Or George Jones.
Or George Jones without a hat, so I knew not to go with him. But there's all kinds of things that will change people, and I think a near-death experience is one of them, and there's so many examples, and Donald Trump is the most recent that I know of. When we continue on Extra 106.3, folks from Cuba hear a familiar word coming out of New York City. Next on Extra 106.3.
The Morning Extra on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3 FM.
Oh, hey there, it's Los. Let's talk about True Prep. First off, you know where to go. 1000 Cobb Parkway in Marietta. Again, 1000 Cobb Parkway in Marietta, because right now, and this is only going to be going on for a couple more days through November 12th, they have some wild in-store specials. And when I say wild, it's because when you start seeing the pricing, you're going to understand why. They have the Glock 19 Gen 4 and the Glock 19X in stock today while supplies last. Now, these go extremely fast when they get them in and they put them in their in-store specials. Also, deals on 15 and 33 round Glock 9mm magazines, again, through November 12th. Other deals that they have going on right now includes the Radical Arms AR-15 for only $399.99, and some of the lowest prices on ammo that you're going to find in Atlanta. Not just 9mm, 223 as well. Check them out in store, 1000 Cobb Parkway in Marietta, or go to trueprep.com. That's truprep.com. Prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow with True Prep.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are sports headlines for Monday, November 10th. The Atlanta Falcons are now 3-6 on the season after an overtime loss yesterday in Berlin to the Indianapolis Colts, 31-25. Colts running back Jonathan Taylor ran for 244 yards, including the game winner in overtime. Week 10 comes to a close with Monday Night Football tonight. The Green Bay Packers host the Philadelphia Eagles. That game will kick off at 8:15. From the NBA, legendary coach and player Lenny Wilkens has passed away at the age of 88. Wilkens is third on the NBA's all-time win list as a coach and coached the Hawks from 1993 to 2000. As for the Hawks, they're in action tonight on the West Coast as they take on the LA Clippers. That game will tip off at 10:30. With your sports Sports Headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
Looking for the perfect car, truck, or SUV? Jim Ellis Buick GMC has you covered. With a huge selection of new and used vehicles, finding the right fit is easy.
Whether it's a Buick Enclave or Envision, a GMC Acadia or Yukon, or the power of the Sierra and Canyon trucks, and the best part, you're never alone in the process.
Their expert sales team helps match you with the right vehicle, while their finance specialists make buying simple and stress-free.
With decades of experience, Jim Ellis Buick GMC understands the importance of offering an expansive inventory that fits every driving performance, style, and budget need. Plus, every new Buick and GMC comes with cutting-edge technology, premium comfort, and advanced safety features so you can drive with confidence.
Already a Buick or GMC owner? Well, keep it running like new with their state-of-the-art service center staffed by factory-trained technicians who know your vehicle inside and out. Start your search at JimEllisBuickGMC.com or shop in person in Chamblee off Peachtree Boulevard, inside the Perimeter, or in Beaufort off Highway 20 near 985. Jim Ellis, Buick GMC, we are professional grade.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why the big wireless companies want you on an unlimited plan? It's because they need you to help cover the cost of the 20-somethings who are using a lot of data every month. Fact is, according to the latest research studies, most people 50 and up, like me, only use 12 gigs or less each month. Don't get bamboozled by big wireless. At Consumer Cellular, pick what suits your needs. Whether it's 1 gig, 5, 10, or unlimited, the point is, pay for exactly what you need and nothing more. We use the same towers as the big guys, but since we don't own and maintain them, we can pass the savings on to you. Our plans start at just $20 a month, and you'll get the best customer service in the business. I want to invite you to join the millions of people who choose something better than big wireless. Because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
We are seeing something truly disturbing. Anti-Semitism is on the rise all around the world, and sadly, right here in America. Jewish schools have been targeted, synagogues threatened, families living in fear. This is something we hoped we'd never see again in our lifetime. But let me say this, silence is not an option. This is the moment to take a stand. That's why I want to tell you about the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, or the IFCJ. These are the people that are on the front lines providing real help when it's needed most. They're giving food and shelter to Jewish families under threat. They're helping survivors of hate rebuild their lives. And they don't just respond to crisis. They work every day to prevent it. Your gift of only $45 will help support their life-saving work by helping provide food, shelter, and so much more. The Bible says, I'll bless those who bless you. Supporting IFCJ is a spiritual stand. It's showing up for God's people when it counts. So please call 888-488-IFCJ. That's 888-488-4325 or go to ifcj.org. Every dollar helps, so don't wait. Be the difference. Visit ifcj.org or call 888-488-IFCJ now.
Shannon Burke is back on the air in Atlanta. Well, sort of. He's live on The Kimmer Show every Thursday at 5 p.m.
You know, I think what he was able to do, along with Jared Kushner and Witkoff, and the way he got Middle Eastern cut nations to move on some things and realign, it's a masterwork of statesmanship.
Yeah.
Of
course, the over-the-top libs are just saying, well, it's too early to give any credit.
It's exposed them and the Free Palestine people. They're still, hacking American airports. They're still saying, go after Trump. They're still they're still saying Free Palestine. He just did it.
Yeah. Right. Atlanta's biggest conservative voices are only on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Extra. I've told you about a dear friend of mine named Mike Macho. His family is from Cuba, came here legally. They had everything in the world taken away from them in their home country. And Mike may be one of the most patriotic people that I ever met in my whole life. Because of that, I'm sure that plays into some of it. And the fact that he just loves the United States of America. He was like, I just wish I would have served. He was like, that would have been the only thing I would change about coming up. I wish I would have joined the military at some point to show this country how much I love it. And I want you to hear from Governor Ron DeSantis. And he said there are Cuban exiles that are telling him that what they're hearing out of New York City rings very loudly in their ears.
And I had a lot of these Cuban exiles tell me, like when they were listening to Mandami, it sounded awful familiar with what Fidel Castro was promising back in the late 1950s. It never works out well. He's tried all these things. All the things he claims he's going to do have been tried in the past, and the results are going to be bad.
Yeah, the results are going to be really, really bad. But isn't it interesting? Because those young people that voted for him, it was predominantly young voters, predominantly people that had only been in New York City for 5 years, and predominantly white women. Those were the coalition, if you will.
The strange part is that the amount of, as you said, been in New York less than 5 years, foreigners, that was the number that was overwhelmingly for him. And so it makes you kind of wonder if you understand what so many of the rest of the countries in this world do, which is there's a transaction. I give you my vote, you take things away from other people, you give it to me. And that's kind of the nature of the world.
It's a trade-off, yeah.
And so that is why you had so many of these people that said, well, if you said you're going to take this away from other people and give it to me, okay, I know how to vote then. And that's with you.
It's crazy, though, that some people are willing to work that deal. Like they feel good about that deal. But the people that are exiles from Cuba saying, I hear the words of Castro. I bet there's plenty of them that say, I hear the words of Hugo Chavez or maybe any other despot that has been around the world and that they've escaped from. Usually, if you escape from that, those you don't want any part of it anymore because you know where that road leads. And I was talking to my son. He had called me. He has questions a lot of times. He'll ask me questions about what's going on in the political world and why he should pay attention and why it matters. And he was asking some of those same questions. Why would people vote this way? Why would they go to get away from it and then vote the same way? And I don't know why, but I know people do it. But there's nothing like people that have lived under it and then recognize it and then start waving the flag. Please pay attention. You don't know what you're asking for. And where are you going to escape to? That's what I said to Jacob. I was like, if America fails, and most good runs for a country is about 250 years.
Right around there.
I don't know if you noticed. We're right there at that. On July 4th of next year, we're right there. So that was the question I posed to him. Where do you go if America fails? That's why it's important to fight.
What I would always ask is this. If you're telling me you have an issue going on in a community where you feel like there is too little for too many, and we've seen this a lot on the West Coast where you see the explosion of homelessness, and yet these communities continue to raise their minimum wages, and suddenly everything's more expensive. And now more people are falling into poverty. When Mamdani talks about taking the minimum wage in the city from $16.50 to $30 by 2030,
yeah,
that is the quickest way to destroy a community. It's not going to be from free buses. It's not going to be from rent control. It'll be from the raising of a minimum wage by nearly double, and yet thinking that your equilibrium will still be the same. It's like, no, you're going to raise prices on everything, and now you're going to have a whole lot of have-littles and very few.
It should be so obvious. It should be so clear. You see it happen the same way every time. And I was blessed to be able to hear your story time about people like Shay and Stalin and all of them that grew up so wealthy, and Mamdani too.
Mamdani grew up wealthy.
Try to pretend that they're of the people and try to pretend that they're doing something extraordinary when all they're doing is just amassing as much power as they can. And I went through some of your story time talking points and said, here's what you got to look out for.
So you started by talking about Mike Macho and his family from Cuba. And if you know the era of the Cuban Revolution, and there's a good documentary that I think it's either YouTube or maybe Netflix, but it goes through the waves of revolution that were going on in Cuba. From its founding as basically, hey, it's a plantation community, to it's risen up and now here's what it's becoming. Every single time the revolution is led, it's led by somebody who's rich, who says, I'm a common person, fall in behind me, let's go take this thing back. And eventually the last one ended up being the Castros, where they did the same thing. It was, no, we're just common people.
We're just regular.
You know what? Those political prisoners and everybody, we're going to open up the prisons.
That's right.
We're going to free everybody.
Well, that should ring some bells in your ears.
And as Mike Macho's family knows, What was the joke from last week?
You can vote your way into socialism. You'll have to shoot your way out.
I was thinking more along the lines of you'll build a raft out of trash.
Oh, yes, that one's good, too.
It's like
socialism's so good.
Socialism's so good, you'll build a raft out of trash to float away from it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And they have to keep you in. They have to tell you can't leave. They try to tax you when you leave, or they build walls to keep you in.
But that's always been the game.
Absolutely.
The game is always, I'm a common man. I'm here to help the common people. I will take away from people and give it to you.
It seems like they would try to disguise it a little bit, right? Because it's never worked. We'll disguise it. We'll make it look like something that it's not, but they don't. They just wait until there's enough people that are naive enough or inexperienced enough to convince them that this is the way to go. And you heard the interviews after the Mamdani election of people going through, I don't know why I voted for him. He said he's going to make things cheaper, and he seems like a cool dude.
It always goes the same way. The young is who the communists have to go after.
The inexperienced.
So they always have to go to the university level and below. That is where they find the next level of foot soldiers. Like, if you just went through what happened to China in the 50s, when after they were done with their Great Famine, 30 to 50 million dead, and Chairman Mao is in trouble, he decided, we're going to reject the olds. And you can look at the entire Chinese Cultural Revolution was about rejecting the olds. Old leadership, old symbolism, everything that was old. And it was, hey, this guy's new and hip. Mm-hmm. Look how strong he is. He's telling us that we need to turn on our parents because they don't know what they're talking about.
It's a good vibe. He's got a good vibe. I heard so many people that voted for him say it's his vibe. That's the reason I voted for him.
Same thing. It's always, it doesn't matter. The end is always crap. The end is always going to be a problem. It's never what you want it to be. People get caught up in the vibe. People are looking for a movement to be a part of. And so they glom on like they're going to make a difference. I mean, you saw this in such recent history. How many people were so thinking they were so highly educated, so smart, because they put a mask on?
Some of them still do it to this moment.
I know more than you. I'm wearing a mask. I'm like, I don't think you do. But it was a symbol.
I know, but
it was a symbol of their adherence.
It's almost like a logo.
Yes.
On a shirt. Look at me. This is my mark.
Which otherwise, let's face it, some of these people were complete losers in life. Yet they found a way that they were so much more than you because they are smart and adhere to the message.
I think Mamdani's that way. I think he's the biggest loser in the world. And yet, just like you're saying, found the way to make himself relevant. Unreal that it's happening in America. And it is. You'll be ready to fight. You got to be ready to fight. This is the Morning Xtra on Xtra 106.3. January 6th was a Fedsurrection, as we've told you before, the most recent examples proving that to be the truth. Next on Xtra.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 106.3.
A totally unhinged commentary today, enough to make you wonder why would anybody give this guy a microphone? First of all, a shooting, high school. Somebody bumped into a teenager in the high school hallway, and he didn't apologize. So the teen who was bumped, we'll call him Thug-tavious, challenged the other team to a fight. They met outside, and Thug-tavious shot him. I guess he'd been disrespected. Then another one, this one is in DeKalb County, didn't do nothing. Didn't do nothing was ticked off because his girlfriend spent an evening with friends instead of with him. So didn't do nothing, went and found his girlfriend, shot her, and killed her. Yes, both of these killers were black. And yes, both of them were raised without a father in the household. So what else is new? Next, we have a female basketball player. Her name is Dawn Staley. She wants a national apology from American Eagle for choosing Sydney Sweeney over Angel Reese in that advertising campaign for jeans. A national apology. Why? Because Sydney Sweeney is white. Angel Reese is not. And Dawn Staley wants us to know that jeans are a black thing. The first ones were stitched by slaves for Levi's. And now we have somebody from CNN, Ashley Allison. She says that SNAP, food stamps, having a massive impact on her life after she went to get her eyebrow technician to work on her eyebrows. And the technician told her they had to fire people because clients didn't have money to do their brows. They were having to spend it on food. A little picture of America for you this morning. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Hey, this is Tom Mitchell, the honest car guy. So things are deceiving sometimes, and it's hard to explain how much money I can really save you. I've saved people upwards of $20,000 and $30,000. I mean, it really depends on the year, the make, the model of the car, and the price of the car. You know, in a $15,000 car, I can't save you $20,000. I mean, let's be realistic. We can probably save you $2,000 or $3,000, but it's through the course of the whole sale. The big one here that people don't realize, the financing. You go into the dealership, they tell you your rate's 9%, or really it's probably 7% because they're allowed to make 2 points on there. We found a better way for customers to buy a car, an honest way, a very transparent way. You pay what we pay plus our honest fee. We even prove it to you by giving you a copy of the bill of sale at the end of the deal. So the beauty of what we do is we don't put you on a car that we have to sell. We put you on a car that you want. And at the Honest Car Guy, you'll save an average of $5,000 to $10,000 depending on the price of the car. Call 1-844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
The shutdown may finally end this week. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
The goal is to get the government open, give people the certainty they need with the upcoming holidays.
That's what Republican Senator John Barrasso told Fox after a late-night vote that finally broke a filibuster, upsetting progressives like Senator Bernie Sanders.
8 Democrats voted with the Republicans to allow them to go forward on this continuing resolution. And to my mind, this was a very, very bad vote.
Because Democrats did not get the extension of expiring Obamacare tax credits they demanded.
The move would reopen the government under a deal which includes spending enough money to keep the government running until the end of January. It would fund SNAP benefits, federal workers would get their back pay, and the Senate would have a vote next month on whether or not to refund Obamacare subsidies.
Fox's Mark Meredith at the White House. It's not exactly clear when the Senate and House will vote on that funding. Another 1,500 plus flights canceled today, 1,200 more delays related to the shutdown. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy tells Fox.
More controllers aren't coming to work day by day. The further they go without a paycheck.
Some flight problems, though, are weather-related with snow in the Chicago area up to Michigan. We're just getting word of more U.S. military strikes off the South American coast. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth posted on X they took out 2 more boats. He wrote, "We're trafficking illegal drugs, killing 6 people Hegseth calls narco-terrorists." 2 Major League Baseball pitchers have been indicted on fraud and bribery charges, accused in another sports betting scheme. Luis Ortiz is due in court today. Emmanuel Clase is not in custody yet. Both played for the Cleveland Guardians.
The FBI and federal prosecutors alleging that the two would plan to throw things like a certain type of pitch or a ball instead of a strike ahead of time. Then they and their friends would place bets on it. The players would also allegedly sometimes get paid by other people to throw a specific pitch.
Fox's Greg Thompson. President Trump issued 77 pardons last night related to the 2020 election, including his former attorney, Rudy Giuliani. America's listening.
This is the time of the year most of us are checking off our holiday gift list. Identity thieves have lists too, and your personal information might be on that list. Protect your identity with LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every single second and alerts you to the threats you could miss yourself. If your identity is stolen, your own U.S.-based restoration specialist is going to work to fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Make this season about joy, not identity theft, with LifeLock. Save up to 40% off your first year at LifeLock.com with the promo code BECK. Terms apply.
This month, Pure Talk is supporting Canines for Warriors, a terrific organization that trains rescue dogs and then pairs them up with combat vets struggling with PTSD. This is why I switched to Pure Talk. Sure, I like the unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $25 a month, and you will too. But you will love being in business with a company that shares your values. Dial pound 250, say Micro, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Grow your business organically with Atlanta's fastest growing news and talk station, Extra 106.3. Get started today by emailing sales@xtra1063.com.
Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, Outkast bringing us into the 8 o'clock hour. Here on Extra 106.3, Tug and Los until 10. Guessing that Outkast may have been part of your playlist on Friday.
Definitely.
Yeah. Got to get them in there.
Got some outcasts going.
Got them. And
we bounced around a lot. I mean, we were out there for 5 hours, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We went from Bob Marley to the Police to U2 to Morgan Wallen. That was the shape of the day for us. Anyway, and I just hit the essentials, so it would play all the biggest hits, and then we would switch artists. All the biggest hits, then we would switch artists. Fun times for everybody.
Yeah, great time. Thank you to everybody who came on out, and also thank you to a lot of our sponsors.
Yeah, man. They're
Morning Xtra,
dude.
Weber Ranch Vodka, Georgia Sports Autograph, Solomon Brothers, Rebel InfoSec, of course.
Yeah, Gary Miller.
Southern Exteriors.
Yep.
Georgia Power, Beaver Toyota. Yeah, a lot of great things going on out there,
dude. And then also, was it Aikens Ford?
Yeah, Aikens Ford.
Dude, did you see that Bronco that was out there?
Yeah, it was nice.
Dude, that thing was so bad. They have that. I think it's called Wild Willie's, where they have their own shop. Like if you want your truck lifted, because that's where we bought our Jeep. Was out there years ago. It's about 10 years ago now, but they did the work and lifted the Jeep that my son now drives. We didn't want it to be monster truck looking. We just want just the slightest lift, like 2 inches, just enough to make it just kind of sit up just a little bit. And, dude, they do good work, and they had done the same kind of thing with that Bronco because it wasn't overdone. I see some of those that get overdone. This one was not, and that's why it looks so stinking good. But just so many great folks that were out for the golf tournament. And then on Saturday, Georgia looked really good. Georgia Tech had the bye week. Georgia took it to Mississippi State, which most people would expect. They were 5-4, but I think a better football team than a lot of people give them credit.
Oh, they've lost a lot of one-score games.
That's right.
And they've looked
including
better.
to Texas. They led Texas most of the time.
They lost in overtime to Texas, which will be the next matchup, 7:30 Saturday night for Georgia.
One of the coolest things that I saw was Nate Frazier, and that dude played with bursts of speed.
Huge game.
I'd never seen before.
Running back for Georgia had a huge game.
Gosh, and there was one where Georgia scores a touchdown. They were already up like 24-7, and Nate Frazier has one of those big runs from about Georgia's own 40. And the first person to greet Nate Frazier in the end zone was his quarterback, who
ran him down.
I mean, he's not supposed to be that fast, and I don't think he's that fast. Nate Frazier, I do think is that fast, but it was just, I was like, wait a minute.
Yep, that's Gunnar Stockton.
Wait, how is that even possible? And sure enough, it was. It was really cool.
For everyone who does he's sneaky athletic. I'm like, no, I think he's just athletic.
He's just really athletic.
Because I don't know what the problem is by just saying, what if you're just athletic?
Yeah, he's just a good ball player.
Wait, are you saying that he plays with a high motor?
I mean, is he supposed to bring his lunch pail? I mean, I know all of them.
Yeah. Really intelligent quarterback.
He's like a coach on the field.
High IQ.
Right.
He's the captain of the offense.
What are we really saying here?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a good ball player. That's all I'm saying.
It's always funny when you have a very fast white receiver and they'll get comparison to, this, like, for instance, the Georgia receiver who's now playing with the Chargers, he was running around doing his thing last night. Anyway,
Ladd McConkey?
Ladd McConkey, the initial comparison was, he's kind of like a Wes Welker. No, he's not.
He's kind of like a Ladd McConkey.
No, he's kind of like a Ladd McConkey, kind of like, a downfield receiver with about 4.4 speed.
Chatsworth George is on.
All right, we're talking about legitimate 1,100 yards last year as a rookie. That's as good as you're going to get out of a rookie year. It's because he's a dynamic playmaker.
Yeah, he's
and we can still look at him taking the ball and going 70 yards on end arounds for Georgia. Dude. But that's kind of the deal. It's like you look at a player and you go, well, he kind of looks like that person. Doesn't play like that person.
No,
don't make that comparison.
He's extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. And it's fun to watch. It'll be fun to watch the Texas visit to Athens, Georgia. This is the first time Texas has ever been to Athens, right? I would assume.
I would imagine, yeah.
And so a first time. Hopefully Georgia comes out. What did you say earlier?
I read how they put belt to ass against Mississippi State.
I never heard that before. Have you ever heard that, Jeray?
I read it a handful of places.
Okay, Jeray said he's heard. He's like,
there's some touchdown celebrations that reference that pretty well.
Okay,
taking off the belt.
Yeah, I love it.
The strap.
That is a fantastic way to do it. Unlike the Falcons, which apparently did not go quite.
It had a moment.
Yeah, there was.
Had a moment there.
And then it disappeared just as quickly.
And their special teams did not play well in the second half. And certainly, you look at the numbers on Penix Jr., and it is the combination, in my opinion, of inexperienced OC, inexperienced quarterback. Here's what you get. Because right now, you can't make the same argument with that defense. That defense has a lot of young players, and Jeff Ulbrich has it getting after people. I mean, they have 29 sacks right now. They go with... That is rare for the Falcons to ever break 40 sacks. They're going over 40 sacks.
And I'm not trying to...
young guys making plays.
I'm not trying to go backwards, but Georgia had a couple sacks in the game. They'd only had, eight
going into the game.
Whole, and then they had at least two, if not more, in that game. So the defense showed up too, which is a lot of fun. January 6th, we've told you how many times since the day it happened, this is a Fedsurrection. And now we have more information about it than ever before, Los.
So... let's look at this in terms of order of operations. Nancy Pelosi makes the announcement that she's stepping down. That not going to seek re-election. I'm done. And everyone like, yay, good. She's finished. She's done. Finally, Nancy Pelosi's moved on. At the same time, we have a story that's growing out of the Blaze. And the Blaze has a particular reporter who was actually arrested because of actions tied to January 6th. He was actually shackled. He had to show up to an FBI office and be shackled. And what did they hit him with? Parading. It's like, wait a minute, I was just covering the story like other members of the media were. Well, hold on a second. But you are not the member of the media that we care for.
That's right. You might liable to, as my daddy would say. You're liable to tell the truth, and we want no part of that.
Oh, we can't have any portion of that. And so I reference that in part, and that's, by the way, that's Steve Baker, who had that whole scenario that played out where he's an investigative journalist with the Blaze. Steve Baker has now been following this story of January 6th of why was there pipe bombs that were left at the RNC and DNC? And that was reported the day after January 6th. On January 7th, it was meant to drive home. It's a real insurrection. They were going to blow some stuff up.
Trying to paint this elaborate picture.
The more he's looked into it, he said, I'm going to drop the name and I'm going to drop the story. And this was on Thursday night. But he says that he's been contacted by members of the DOJ that are saying, wait.
Many people have already figured it out, though.
People have figured it out. If it's reportedly who it is, it's a Capital City police officer. Capitol Police who did this.
Who left and then went to work with the CIA.
Now, here's the other fun part about this story. And this all blows up the entire January 6th narrative. It's why Nancy Pelosi moves on. It's why they're scattering for the hills. Because if this was dropped, the two pipe bombs, by a Capitol officer who then has moved on, it also points to something different. So there's a man named Guy Reffitt. Guy, for a lack of a better term, I think he's an idiot. Okay? He was there on January 6th. He showed up. He had an AR-15 in his truck. Left it locked. He did show up with a firearm. He never entered the building. He had a bullhorn in which he talked about dragging Nancy Pelosi out and we'll take the Capitol by the end of the day. But something happened to Guy during this time period. By the way, again, never entered the Capitol. Never ended up breaching anything. He was just there to protest. Guy Reffitt gets shot in the face with a pepper ball. Reffitt, when the name of the pipe bomber started getting out there, he put this out on X. Got shot by alleged pipe bomber. Alleged pipe bomber testified against me at trial. Alleged pipe bomber speaks at sentencing and calls me a terrorist, a domestic terrorist. You can't make this S up. It's too rich. So the woman who it looks like reportedly is the person who dropped the pipe bombs at the RNC and DNC working as part of an operation was also there at January 6th, shot the man with a pepper ball, and then proceeded to be the one who testified against him that he's the terrorist.
You're going to talk about Banana Republic, monkey, just what's a kangaroo court?
Kangaroo court?
It's exactly what this is. I mean, it couldn't lay out more perfectly.
Big picture. Woman, part of an operation who drops pipe bombs at the RNC and DNC is then there at January 6th shooting at protesters, at the time demonstrators. They're not even protesting, they're just demonstrating.
Right. Using their First Amendment right, by the way.
Incites the violence in part because she's shooting at them.
Yep.
And then she's the one in court that's testifying against them being a terrorist, who, by the way, Guy Reffitt, who I acknowledge is an idiot, never entered the building.
He wasn't that dumb then. Because he knew not to go in there.
Oh, but here's the fun part, Tug, and here's the let's wrap that around. Guy Reffitt was sentenced to 87 months in federal prison with a $2,000 fine and 3 years of supervised release.
Well, hang on. Give me that again.
He was sentenced to 87 months in federal prison with a $2,000 fine and 3 years of supervised release.
Dude, that doesn't even make... That sentence doesn't make sense.
Does that not tell... And I saved that for last.
Yeah. But 87 months and a $2,000 fine?
And by the way...
What?
Fisher versus United States from 2024, which was used against him, which was that he was part of obstructing an official proceeding. He never entered the building.
He wasn't obstructing anything. He was using his First Amendment right.
Now, should he have shown up there with a firearm? No. Should he have had an AR locked in the truck? No. But... none of this is still any point where you go, all right, what have you done that now is 87 months? Did you enter the building? No.
I can't get over 87 months and $2,000. It seems like 87 months would yield a fine of $200,000. That doesn't even make sense. I don't know what that stands out to.
After being shot in the face.
Yeah, with a pepper ball by
the woman who reportedly, allegedly dropped the pipe bombs at the two locations and then proceeded to testify that you're the terrorist.
And why did it take so long to narrow this person down? Because there was zero effort. I mean, obviously, the Capitol Police, somebody knew. Obviously, the federal government, somebody knew. And I would imagine the CIA, somebody knew. In the most surveilled city in America, for sure, if not the world.
I'm willing to bet that the most powerful woman in D.C. knew.
The one that may be stepping away, or not even maybe, the one that has announced that she's stepping away, the one that said, yeah, I guess it's on me, I didn't call in the National Guard. Odd that you would say that.
Odd that you would reject 3 different times National Guard help leading up to January 6th. Because this was a crime to cover up the crime that was the 2020 election.
That way you never ask again.
So I think one day we will look back on it. It'll be so, as the media, the mass media, the old corporate media dies a slow death. I mean, it's dead. It's been dead since June of 2024. But at some point we are going to recognize that the people that actually showed up there are the most hardcore patriots in this country. That's what it comes down to.
Nancy Pelosi, y'all help me remember this, because...
they knew.
Didn't Nancy Pelosi at some point talk about how she expected the trespassing? Wasn't that her comment? I expect this. This is what I've been expecting. She said that on camera, if I'm not mistaken.
They had the cameras rolling during
because
the
her daughter was doing a documentary or something.
Said a lot there.
She did.
HBO.
But that stands out to me more than anything else. I was expecting this to happen. Well, why would you expect it? What would give you an inclination that a protest, whether you liked it or not, that a protest would turn into a riot? What would give you that people would trespass? What would give you that inclination?
The federal government had 2 months to plan their response to what was going to happen after the election was over with. They knew, because the numbers didn't add up. The numbers never added up in the most statistically unlikely scenario that's ever occurred, that you legitimately were going to have this election it was going to have to be thrown out. It was going to have to go back to the states. In fact, we were going to be in a situation where the states would say, well, I'm not certifying this. And yet, what they needed was January 6th in order to make it all go away.
How bad does Mike Pence look right now?
Yes, he looks terrible. He is Judas.
How does he sleep at night knowing that he did not certify, or he certified an election that was completely hijacked?
He was complicit in the entire operation. And again, the pipe bomber, by all reporting, starting with Steve Baker of the Blaze and what looks like it's going to come down, and you can find the name of the person, who it is with the Capitol Police.
It's everywhere on X.
It's a woman who is now working for a 3-letter agency. Her operation was go drop these things off on January 5th, leading to January 6th, as part of this operation. To make it look like we need to make it look.
It's the biggest operation, anti-American operation in the history of America. It's right up there with the JFK assassination, if you ask me. This makes Watergate's like it never even happened.
Well, when you hear about false flag operations, point at one group so that we can get something done.
Mm-hmm.
If this all plays out, and you'll notice you will not see this on any part of the mainstream media.
They've not. We've had it on Morning Joe, MSNBC. We watch this crap so you don't have to all morning long. Guess what? They've not mentioned one time.
And I would imagine that when we get to Glenn Beck later today, you can hear him every day, 10 to noon, right here on Xtra 106.3. I would imagine, because you get the roster ahead of time, Steve Baker's going to be on there soon.
Oh, he's got to be, yeah. Because he was on.
Because Baker was on all last week leading up with here's what information's out there. And you want to talk about another guy who can claim that I've been targeted by the previous administration and the federal government, the DOJ. It was Steve Baker who was parading. He was just covering the event. He did nothing different than what anybody else was doing. But yet the closer he got to this story, the more pressure there was on him.
I don't have anything from Beck yet. It'll probably be in the next 40 minutes, I would imagine, as to what's going to be on the show a little later today. But you can bet Steve Baker will be, because nobody else is going to cover it. Nobody. You think mainstream media is going to tell my Aunt Peg that this was a lie from the get-go? Everything that you've hung your hat on, every argument that you've started always begins with January 6th.
And can I finish with this? Why do you think the entire January 6th committee received presidential pardons?
They had to. It
was all part of an illegal operation.
To cover.
I mean, if it wasn't illegal, then why do you need a pardon?
There's nothing to need to be pardoned about.
I mean,
if you're on the up and up.
I don't need a pardon.
It'd be different if they hired a lawyer.
It'd be different if you wanted to give me a pardon for speeding this morning. Guilty.
Right.
All right.
But even though, if you hire a lawyer because you think you're going to be prosecuted for something, then that's one thing. But a pardon that nobody can even go after you for anything you've done for the last how many years? 10 years? They backed it up 10 years? It's absolutely nuts. And it's exactly what you thought it was. Because you're smart enough, you know. Your eyes and ears work. They just wanted you to doubt your eyes and ears. And they've wanted you to do that since January 6th. When we come back on Xtra 106.3, Bill O'Reilly. Buddy, he comes out swinging on Bill Maher over Bill's little footprint. Next on Xtra.
Your favorite Xtra shows are streaming live video from the studio on Xtra 106.3's YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Xtra YouTube channel and get the Morning Xtra and the Kimmer Show in live digital video.
I'm looking it up right now. What is the first day of winter? And I thought it was December 21st, and there it is. December 21st is correct. So we've got winter-like weather today. I mean, we're still at 32 degrees outside. It is blistering cold. And if you use central heating and air conditioning, your home is not. The inside of your house, quite comfortable. As you were getting the kids ready for school this morning, as you were getting ready to go to work this morning. Now, if you're in a different situation and your heating and air isn't working as well as it should, maybe the house isn't as warm as it should, maybe there's those zones. I think that's the way they describe it over at Central. I would just say cold spots in the house. That's the way old hillbilly from Northwest Georgia would say it. There's some cold spots. As you walk through the kitchen, it gets cold. As you go into the bedroom, it's warmer because it's close to the HVAC. You can correct all of that with central heating and air conditioning. Right now is the perfect time to upgrade for comfort and warmth. Limited time, you can get it up to $2,100 in rebates and 60 months of 0% financing with approved credit right now. Savings up front, no interest for 5 years. Turn to the carrier experts at Central Heating and Air Conditioning. You see, Chuck and his team have been operating in Atlanta for about 78 years. One of the very few second-generation locally owned HVAC companies in Atlanta. A lot of these companies have been bought out. They keep that local name, though. They want you to think that they're a local company. If you call Central right now, first of all, you won't be sent into automation. When you actually speak with someone, you'll be like, hey, is Chuck in? Quiz me on it. Challenge me. I promise you, they will tell you that Chuck will either be, yes, he's in the office, or he's on his way in. He'll be here shortly. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
At Jim Ellis Ford Sandy Springs, you can take advantage of employee pricing on select new Ford models. That means you pay what Ford employees pay. No markup, no hidden fees. It's all part of Ford's bold campaign, from America for America. While other dealerships may raise prices due to auto tariffs, Jim Ellis Ford Sandy Springs is stepping up, giving you the power to save big on American-made vehicles. Choose from bestsellers like the F-150, the rugged Bronco, the capable Explorer, and now when you purchase or lease a new Ford EV like the all-electric Mustang Mach-E, you'll receive a complimentary home charger and standard installation, making your switch to electric even easier. At Jim Ellis Ford Sandy Springs, you're not just getting a great deal, you're getting award-winning service from a locally family-owned dealership.
They're just 4 miles north of 285 on Roswell Road. Visit them online at jimellisford.com.
Jim Ellis Ford Sandy Springs, where you pay what we pay, where you can always expect the best.
Hey, this is Matt from East Cobb. We basically bought our house from our in-laws. It was my wife's childhood home. One of the issues that we've had when we first moved in was our dog in our backyard. It was extremely shaded, could never grow grass back there. We resodded it twice. So ATL Turf Co. did an amazing job with our backyard transformation. They basically created a miniature golf hole. We have a miniature fairway. We also have a miniature little putting green. Consists of about 4 holes, total about 40 yards, so you can definitely work on your short game and your putting. After that transformation that ATL Turf Co. did for us, my father-in-law came and saw his house the way it looked after the fact of we had a putting green and a miniature golf course. Sure enough, he did the same thing with ATL Turf Co. He has a beautiful backyard, wonderful stonework, drainage, and a beautiful practice area for chipping and putting. Check him out online at atlturfco.com.
Big moments deserve big-time craftsmanship. At Solomon Brothers Jewelers, we've been family-owned and operated since 1982 because we know what it means to show up when it counts. Jaron Solomon here, and that's why we're proud to be an official Tacori jeweler. Each Tacori ring is handcrafted in California, going through 20 elite artisans before it hits your hands. Not mass-produced, not generic, always personal. And with Solomon Brothers, you get lifetime cleanings, unbeatable financing, and the largest Tacori selection in Georgia. Stop by a store in Buckhead, Alpharetta, or Sharpsburg. Visit SolomonBrothers.com to book your private appointment. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, where love is in the details and legends are built to last. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs and official jeweler of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Monday, November 10th. A major drug bust in Gwinnett County over the weekend as the DEA discovered hundreds of pounds of meth in a storage facility. Authorities arrested a 47-year-old Mexican national, Marco Rosales, who officials say is in the U.S. illegally. Agents saw Rosales moving packages into the storage unit and later used a canine to detect the drugs and move in. Must Ministries in Cobb County has opened a new health clinic to help residents without insurance. The new clinic will provide access to many health care options, including pediatric care, lab testing, and counseling services. Estimates show about 1.2 million Georgians are currently living without health coverage. And the city of Roswell wants to calm traffic with a new policy. The Slow Down in Roswell campaign aims to make streets safer and more walkable for pedestrians. Officials are using data-driven strategies to decide where to prioritize and install neighborhood safety measures like traffic lights, speed cushions, and road signs. The campaign begins in 2026. Today's weather, sunny, cold, and windy with a high of 40 degrees. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
8 o'clock hours brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. Dude, it's been, I guess, probably at least 15 years since Bill O'Reilly left Fox News Channel. Does that sound about right? 15 years or so?
Yeah, about right.
I used to watch Bill every night. I always loved Bill O'Reilly. My wife bought me all of his books. I used to read everything he would write. I just was always impressed by him. I didn't even always agree with him, but I always thought he was well thought out. I always thought he was well spoken. And then Fox asked him, there was some incident with another
No, 2017, by the way.
It was 2017.
Yeah.
Okay.
O'Reilly's long-running primetime show on Fox News ended April 19th, 2017.
Gosh, seems like such long.
Yeah, it seems longer than that, though.
Long. And I know he does that little show on the First Network. I don't get to see it much. You know, occasionally I'll be flipping through or something, and I'll stop on it for just a second. But I mean, it is just a shell of what it was. It was the behemoth. It was. I would contend it was the biggest show. It's the one that made Fox News Channel.
I agree. Also, the landscape has changed.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Because being that show on Fox, if you are that show, which at one point it was Tucker.
Yeah.
At one point it was Hannity.
Yep.
Yeah. At one point it was
Combs.
O'Reilly. Yes.
Yeah.
Then we're talking about 3 million viewers. That's being that show. Like, woo, you're that show. If you're talking about Bill Maher on HBO, we might be talking about 100,000 viewers, right? Maybe. Like, I'm not really sure what the max number for his live show on a paid cable network, because that's different.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's not just cable, that's paid cable. That's an extension.
And they don't, maybe I'm wrong, but it's not because it's paid, they don't rely on ratings. I mean, not that they don't care necessarily, but they have a built-in audience because the audience is paying a fee. There's no need for, the ads. It is a straight-through show.
Yeah, you don't have to run ads in the middle of the show.
Yeah, that's right. So I think the idea of how many people are watching is probably not that important to them. But, of course, you want as many people watching as you possibly can.
All right, so here's what it does. So in its peak, which was more than a decade ago, it was 4 million. At this point now, because, again, the viewership has changed, the audience has changed, it's about 480,000.
Wow.
So more than I thought. I thought about 100,000, but as of October of 2025, it's 480,000. Okay, so
good enough.
So, I'll put it this way. If you're on MSNBC, it's not good enough.
Oh, yeah. No, but HBO.
If you're on Fox, it's not good enough.
Of course
But if you're on HBO and you're doing 480,000, that's fine.
Dude, I bet that's more than they get on MSNBC. Thinking about it.
Now, here's the fun part. You're going to have an argument between O'Reilly and Bill Maher. And Bill Maher is going to try and go down the road of, well, I'm on every Friday.
Yeah, you don't have a good show anymore, a big show anymore.
Well, here's the difference. O'Reilly has now gotten into the digital media space.
That's right. Through the First Network, and that's where he's everywhere on social.
So he had an event where they did 23 million views.
Good heavens.
Remember, we also had, just several years ago, remember when we had what was the live version of Tucker Carlson and Donald Trump? And that did 50 million
views. It was on
views.
X.
Yes.
Yes, 2 years ago, maybe?
2 years ago. You also had, when Donald Trump was on, Joe Rogan did another 35 million views.
Wasn't there one with Trump and Elon, too? And it almost crashed Twitter or X at the time. Remember, because it was
you had
15,
Elon who made an announcement leading into it.
Yeah, 15 or 20 minutes before running late because the servers were just going crazy. So many people were watching.
So the digital media space is completely different now, because now I don't need to get home and get in front of my television. I don't need to be like, okay, where am I at? What time is it? 8 o'clock? It's like I can just pull it up on my phone.
What channel is it on?
Then I don't have to worry about, did I pay for it? Is my HBO subscription fine? Which channel am I going to get on Hulu or YouTube? Or just go right to X or go right to a digital platform, and boom, I now have the coverage of what's going on. So this is an argument between guy who's kind of an old head and Bill Maher, who's done it the old way, and Bill O'Reilly, who is older, I believe, than Bill Maher, but has made the adjustment. Take a listen.
Hey, look, I watched your program. And you were disenchanted, and correct me if I'm wrong, which I very rarely am, so you probably won't have to do that. You're disenchanted with the far left wing of the Democratic Party, okay? Because you believe that it's poisoned the well for everybody else, like the congressman here.
Because they never met anything that was counterintuitive that they didn't love.
Right. So they want to put trans people in here, and they want to do this. And it just dilutes the message that the Democratic Party has traditionally had, that we're for the workers. We want to improve the lives of the backbone of the country. Now you're into all this fringe garbage that Americans don't want. I think that's your posture.
No, I wouldn't put it that way, but go ahead.
Okay. But you might want to rethink, because that's a good way to put it.
Well, funny. I'm still on the air and you're not, but go ahead.
I expected that. So we did a town hall on News Nation 2 weeks ago from the Kennedy Center. 23 million people watched. 23 million, okay? You can add up all the HBOs you want. You're not going to come close. Just want to correct the record.
Yeah.
I will...
I have a tape measure.
I will check those facts.
Yeah, you check it.
489,000 viewers. He did 23 million.
That's right, in the digital space.
Again, you can say, well, I'm still on the air. On the air is old, baby.
Yeah, what's that mean?
I was like, listen, we do 2 different shows. We do a live radio show. And then when we're done, we have a podcast that stays up every single minute of the remainder of the day that a ton of people consume. Because we're doing a radio show, but we also live in a podcast world that's just as important.
In the digital space.
In the digital space. And at times, that podcast will get many more listens just because of, sometimes it's vacation. Sometimes it's just when people spend time listening.
Or it's just the flexibility.
Yeah, or they'll go back and say, hey, I missed the opening hour or I missed the final hour. Let me go back and check that out. All right? So when Bill Maher is talking about, hey, I'm on the air, 489,000. All right. Bill O'Reilly is talking about 23 million.
Yeah, that's right, dude. You've got no room to talk. There's no leg room. There's nothing to discuss. And it even, sometimes when people come in to do our show, I've had this question asked, Los, when they left. Oh, as a matter of fact, most recently, Jake Dukes from Camp Southern Ground, when he came in last Tuesday to talk about the unsung hero thing. I said, hey, great work. Glad you came. Hope it helped. And I think it, exposed the concert to a lot of people. And he asked me, he was like, were we live? Were we going out on the radio or did we record a podcast? He didn't even know because it's so ingrained that it's just we go and record something, we put it in the digital space and people consume it. I was like, the beauty is, Jake, is we did both.
Yes.
At the time, we were live. Yes, we were live on the air, on the radio. However, anybody that goes back and listens to our show can listen to it in podcast form.
And modern politicians understand this. And they're, when it comes to the people that are around them, and they understand this. Like, for instance, Chris Carr, who was in here a couple of weeks ago leading into the Georgia-Florida game, yes, we did live for about 40 minutes with him. That has now lived even further beyond in the digital space to the point where his campaign has taken video that we have from YouTube and has floated it out there, what he's had to say about different topics.
Right, they've cut it up and shared it.
And so that then does another 100,000 views, another 50,000 views. So while, yes, what we did live was important, then what it then goes and how it continues to live on from there.
The residuals,
yes,
if you will. The mailbox money.
So when O'Reilly is talking about 23 million views,
and Marr is so pissed.
And he's like, did I just walk in? It's like, yes. The 76-year-old just told the 69-year-old how things are working.
That's right.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
Yeah, that's right. But that's the thing. Like, Marr walked right into it. And I don't know that he still got it because he was still arguing. Either that or his ego wouldn't let him back off.
I think that he is, I give him credit. He's mellowed.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, for
he's
sure.
Mellowed.
Yeah.
I think he's mellowed over his time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that when it comes to the sharpness of his arguments, they've been blunted a little bit because of the nature of where the party's at, where suddenly he's on the outs for being not a centrist, but a little more centered than the rest of the people he's arguing with.
You're exactly right, dude.
So when a Republican who shows up there, or at least somebody who has libertarian or Republican values,
conservatarian maybe,
when they show up and they start throwing stuff at him, it's very difficult for him to argue because he's having to argue on his side, which makes a little bit more sense, but he's having to defend the far left who supports him to a certain extent.
And AOC would say, yeah, Mom Donnie is the new face of the party, yes. We good? We got We got AOC
on the Morning Xtra.
So many people who participated and were brought together by his campaign, because they were not just tasked with defeating a Republican. They were also tasked with defeating the old guard of the Democratic Party that essentially led us to many of the perils of this moment. So he had a two-front war to win, which is what makes his victory so deeply impressive. And I do think that this moment, a lot of people who are willing to talk about party unity when it serves them, but not party unity when it serves everybody, it puts those folks on notice. And I think it also puts folks on notice that we have a future to plan for. We have a future to fight for. And we're either going to do that together or you're going to be left behind. And I think that is not a partisan issue. It's not about progressive. It's not moderate. It's not liberal. This is about, do you understand the assignment of fighting fascism right now?
Dude, she was talking to Bill Maher. She was talking to people like that. Either come across and
come over to our side,
embrace the socialism, embrace the communism, or you will be left behind. You will be the old guard.
And Bill Maher is busy saying we can't win elections with this mentality. And AOC saying we just took New York.
And we're not stopping there. And if you have a problem with it, we'll leave you behind too. Dude, Mamdani is the face. And that's what Republicans should be running on in the midterm. Do not let Mamdani, New York City, our America.
This is going to be helpful because now you've created the bogeyman or the boogeyman, depending on where you're from. You get to now have that person and say, look what's going on the coast. Look what's happening here. Because this doesn't work everywhere. But it works when you're in the echo chamber of pure socialism. That here are all of our city services. Imagine if a couple of them were free. Well, that sounds great. Well, when it doesn't work in New York, that has more resources than any city in the country, then what does it say about the rest of the country where you're pushing this stuff? But this is going to be the hill that the far left Democrats are willing to die on.
Absolutely right. But the fear is you have city councilwomen out in, I forget the name of the city, but it was in Montana. Never in a million years would you think someone in Montana would have ideas like they would in New York City.
We'll try and sell it to Montana.
Well,
no chance.
But I'm telling you, they are not going to stop. They're not going to not try. And you don't have to win it. They have patience, dude. That's what I'm saying. Just try it. They're going to continue until they finally get one in there.
You have
in a city council or a county commission.
You have certain communities where it'll never fly.
I hope you're right.
And typically, those are going to be places where people actually have to work for a living. Those are the areas where none of this will ever fly. I don't know if you saw the video. It was at the University of Tennessee, and there was a person who was angry, and he was talking about he was the president of their Democrats, college kid on campus. And remember, at one point it was words are violence. Like, well, okay, that allows them to be violent.
That sounds nuts.
Then it was, well, silence is violence. It's okay if you don't say anything. Well, then it justifies my violence against you.
That's right. There's no winning.
Then this guy said, well, work is violence.
That's right.
You're forcing me to work. It's violence.
Definitely violence.
I can pull it up and play it for you, and I'll just say this. You can say it as much as you want to in Knoxville, Tennessee. You're the minority. You're the crazy weirdo.
Absolutely.
And that's how it'll be. But
all you have to do is win a county commission seat.
It doesn't mean that you're not going to see, because you already infiltrated all the schools anyway. All right? It takes the adults in the room to go, none of this works. And so I think New York is a great situation because it's failure on a massive scale. Just how quickly they allow it. I wish Kathy Hochul would agree to most of the stuff he wants. Yeah. I'd love it.
I don't. I know what you're saying. I don't want to destroy the largest city in the country and the financial capital of the country.
It's already done. It's just how public it is.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it will be for sure.
Who do they vote for?
Yeah, they've got.
It's already done.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of how public it gets.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right about that part. But I hate to see it, and I think most Americans hate to see this.
I love to see socialists try socialism.
Not in my backyard. It's NIMBY.
No, exactly. It's NIMBY. Yeah. Not in my backyard. Go do it over there. Let's watch how that works out.
Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. When we come back, President Trump's son says it was all the FBI who set up his father. Discussion next on the Morning Extra, 8 o'clock hour, brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert, 770-GET-HEAT. centralheat.com. As cold as it is right now, your system's going to be working overtime. I'm guessing there are going to be some systems that just cannot keep up with this cold. When it dies, when it collapses, when it fails, call Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Chuck and his team will be there ready for you with $2,100 in rebates, up to $2,100 in rebates, and up to 60 months, 0% financing with approved credit. CentralHeat.com.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, November 10th. The Atlanta Falcons are now 3-6 on the season after an overtime loss yesterday in Berlin to the Indianapolis Colts, 31-25. Colts running back Jonathan Taylor ran for 244 yards, including the game winner in overtime. Week 10 comes to a close with Monday Night Football tonight. The Green Bay Packers host the Philadelphia Eagles. That game will kick off at 8:15. From the NBA, legendary coach and player Lenny Wilkens has passed away at the age of 88. Wilkens is third on the NBA's all-time win list as a coach and coached the Hawks from 1993 to 2000. As for the Hawks, they're in action tonight on the West Coast as they take on the LA Clippers. That game will tip off at 10:30. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
This is Window Nation, your source for affordable replacement windows at the highest quality. So if your old windows have you boiling in the summer and freezing in the winter, you need the pros at Window Nation with installation precision and experience that are second to none. Their custom windows are guaranteed to be a perfect fit, and they're backed by the best warranty in the industry. Go to getwindownation.com or call 866-90NATION for your free estimate. And for a limited time, get 50% off all window styles, plus pay no interest for 5 years.
Better Than Black Friday savings are here now at Aikens Ford in Winder with $15,000 off the MSRP on select 2025 Ford F-150 XLT Crew Cab 4x4 pickups through November 30th. Hi, this is Brad Aikens, and you also get Ford's 10-year limited factory warranty and no additional charge. Stock number 14142, MSRP $69,502 with approved financing in your 1995 or newer trade. Dealer retains factory rebates plus government fees. Ford's limited warranty is 10 years or 100,000 miles. See dealer for details. Visit us today at aikensford.com.
Thousands of veterans across Georgia are missing out on the benefits they've earned through their service. The Warrior Alliance is changing that by connecting veterans and their families to life-changing resources and support. Tune into the Warrior Alliance Network, our podcast and radio show dedicated to helping veterans succeed after service. Join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. on Talk Radio 106.3 to hear inspiring veteran stories, discover free programs, and learn about career opportunities available to you. Subscribe to the Warrior Alliance YouTube channel today.
Georgia Tech men's basketball single game tickets for the 2025-26 season are now on sale. Secure your seat in the Thriller Dome to watch head coach Damon Stoudemire and the Yellow Jackets take on ACC opponents at home like Clemson, Wake Forest, and North Carolina. Angle pass tipped away, stolen, high post, Dongo. Dongo striding in, two-hand slam. Save your seat for all the on-court action at RamlinRack.com/tickets. Sting 'em.
The Dean's List with Janice Dean.
A pitcher from the Atlanta Braves who surprised a young fan after surgery makes today's Dean's List. 8-year-old Preston Gober Franz loves baseball, especially the Braves. He knows every player, with his favorite person being the pitcher, Spencer Strider. You can imagine his surprise and joy when Preston woke up from his 34th surgery in the hospital and got a visit from his favorite player. Preston was diagnosed with a rare brain condition that has contributed to so many visits to the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. But the smile on his face said it all when Spencer Strider joined him in the hospital room after his surgery. Preston's family says the visit meant the world to him and is giving him strength as he faces the long recovery ahead. So many in the community have reached out to Preston to send him love and encouragement to keep up his fight. And special thanks to Spencer Strider for making his day in such a wonderful way. Janice Dean, Fox News.
Fox on Tech.
Meta is getting ready to spend a lot of money in the United States. The social media and AI company behind Facebook and Instagram, among other social apps, will be investing $600 billion into tech infrastructure and jobs in the U.S. over the coming 3 years. Those data centers will be focused on supplying the computing power behind Meta's artificial intelligence products, all which the company foresees becoming integral to their users' experiences. Building the data infrastructure needed to support AI is an expensive and lengthy undertaking. Meta already previously inked a deal to spend $27 billion to fund a data center in Louisiana, its largest such facility in the world. But even still, many of these high-tech companies leading the foray into American AI say the country lacks infrastructure for both data hosting and power generation enough to keep those data centers functioning. With Fox on Tech, I'm Eben Brown, Fox News.
From the latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust, your best new follow on social media is Xtra 1063. We're at XTRA 1063 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Xtra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Xtra 1063 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
It's only about 10 months ago that Los and I were like, I think maybe the FBI should be scattered to the wind. And I can't say that I've changed my opinion on that because I don't know if it can be reformed. There's so many deep staters in there. If anybody can do it, Donald Trump can do it, but I don't know. I genuinely don't know that it can be reformed. And when you hear what Eric Trump has to say about the FBI, you'll probably agree.
Eric Trump has a book out right now called Under Siege, and it's a family's fight to save the nation. He's been doing the tours, and I had never heard him tell this story. I've heard him where he's done Glenn Beck and he's done a handful of other people, and this is what happens when a book initially comes out, you don't get all the juicy stories. We get like a month after, you get a couple of the juicy stories. And so he's sitting down for an interview and he starts talking about the raid on Mar-a-Lago. And this is where you start to get the impression that the FBI wasn't exactly on the up and up.
Imagine that.
Now, part of the reason why the court case in Florida completely blew up and why you're going to get indictments out of the state of Florida, it's because you should never have gone after Mar-a-Lago.
You can't go into a man's house.
You go into a man's house and he decides to come back at you with, hey, what you were doing was illegal. Well, because you did it in Florida. Now he can get away from D.C. He can file against you in Florida. That was a categorical and a situational mistake.
That's a big error.
That was a big error done by the DOJ.
That's a game-changing error.
But their belief was that he would never get in power again. So why do we have to worry about it? We got this covered. At the very worst, he'll get shot by somebody. What's the big deal? All right, so...
And we won't stop it.
So Eric Trump starts telling the story, and this is going to include that when he informed his father about what was going on, his father posts about it. While there are people at Mar-a-Lago, the FBI. And so... listen to the story as you will then understand that the FBI under for Christopher Wray, this is how corrupt and dirty it was.
They were yelling in the phone, turn off all security cameras. I want all security. So each of these rooms have security cameras, right? And obviously the patios is a commercial property and it's one of the most famous properties in the world. And I go, I'm not turning off our security cameras. I am not turning off our security cameras. The FBI was demanding, and sure enough, it takes 2.5 years, but Eileen Cannon, the judge on the case, ended up finding, they ended up admitting to her that they were planting classified folders in my father's office and,
to take the photos.
Well, I mean, they were fanned out perfectly. They're fanned out perfectly on the floor and on this beautiful carpet. Like my father's going to fan out classified. Like, give me a break.
They brought those classified folders in, didn't they?
And you know what they did? They leaked them to the media and wanted that picture all around the world.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. I asked my team, I go, does my father know? And everybody just went silent. I go, I'll call him right now. He goes, honey, meet me in my office. We were in New York at the time and I met him. And that's when he put out that tweet, which is, the FBI is raiding the famous Mar-a-Lago. I can't believe this. This is an invasion of our home. This is the greatest weaponization of government in the history of our country. That tweet went out while they were here. They had just gotten here half an hour earlier.
Oh.
And they went freaking nuts.
Really?
They went, how dare you tell people that we're here? It's like, how dare you raid our home? How dare you tell people that we're here? They wanted it on their narrative.
Yeah.
They wanted to be the people who put it out. The fact that they raided Donald Trump's home and he put it out first.
Yes.
And they were furious.
They, being the FBI, showed up to Mar-a-Lago, wanted to have all the cameras turned off in order to plant evidence and also, in my opinion, find the Crossfire Hurricane documents that showed exactly what the previous administration had done in order to create an entrapment event for Donald Trump, that he was some sort of, Russian conspirator, Russian collusion, all of that. Which, by the way, we found out all the information was actually in burn bags in a hidden room. Trump didn't have them.
In a skiff, yeah.
It was in a skiff. They were found by the current administration.
And that is what's coming out now, because the new FBI director and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are able to now declassify a bunch of these things and put them out there so you and I could see them. We were never intended to see any of that.
So the FBI decided to plant documents, or at least covers that made it look like there were confidential documents just strewn all over the place, which Eileen Cannon, the judge in Florida, found out. So y'all brought these covers in?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Under oath, we have to say yes, because we'll be prosecuted otherwise.
All right. Case is over with. You staged this, is what it came down to. And to think that the FBI lost their minds because Donald Trump ended up pointing it out that they were in his home, raiding his home, so that now they lost the narrative. Now they're trapped in the guy's home looking for something that's not there. And so what do they have to do?
They have to plant something.
They have to plant something.
And you thought January 6th was the only op. No, this was definitely an op, too.
This was all about the dirtiness of that entire administration.
Think about it. There were 275 FBI agents in the crowd January 6th. And then I don't know if any of those 275 ended up at Mar-a-Lago. Don't know that. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
It's a quarter of the entirety of the crowd were feds.
Yeah.
Backed up by Antifa, with the pipe bombs being left by the Capitol Police.
Do you start seeing how the operations
game
work?
Was?
And they go and do it the same way every time. It's not like they deviate. They do the same type things every time. And now that you know it, now that your eyes are open to it, you always thought there was something screwy, that something wasn't right. But now with the information that we have from those burn bags, that those fools didn't even cover their own tracks, they didn't even destroy their own evidence. I think that's the most gratifying part of all of this, that they screwed themselves by not destroying their own evidence.
We did a story time last week. We talked about James Comey and the pen name that he was emailing under, Reinhold Niebuhr. And who was that? This was supposed to be the noble man in the awful world. Everything around us is tainted, but I'm the noble man doing the right thing by my country, by my profession, which what he was doing was just as dirty. Is it not hilarious to think that maybe Donald Trump is that guy?
Yeah.
The one who's actually trying to do things the right way by the book?
I've seen nothing that gives me any other inclination that he doesn't.
Because we have now had this from a number of different sources that have said, you can't buy Donald Trump. It's part of the reason why he's a billionaire. You can't buy him off. It's not like he's subject to what Big Pharma has to say or who gave over to his political action committee.
Freaking gangsters said, we tried to buy him off, couldn't.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
Talk about his days in New York as a builder, like we tried to buy him off. You can't buy him off. Maybe he is Reinhold Niebuhr, to the point where the deep state went after him this hard to create a scenario where they could at least be able to say, okay, now we took him off the board. We don't have to worry about him. But it's a singular moment in American history of like, here might be the Mr. Stewart goes to Washington.
And yet they call him Hitler. They call him dictator. They call him Nazi. And the more you hear it, the more you realize they're saying that it's part of the op too. All of it's part of the op. Every bit of it. It's all intertwined. It all works together. It was all part of the plan from the get-go, from the very beginning, to make you question Donald Trump, but not them. 8 o'clock hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. When you come back, if you hear Mom Donnie's plan for New York City, you are hearing communist ideas. Next on Extra.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
A totally unhinged commentary today, enough to make you wonder, why would anybody give this guy a microphone? First of all, a shooting, high school. Somebody bumped into a teenager in the high school hallway, and he didn't apologize. So the teen who was bumped, we'll call him Thug-tavious, challenged the other team to a fight. They met outside, and Thug-tavious shot him. I guess he'd been disrespected. Then another one, this one is in DeKalb County, didn't do nothing. Didn't do nothing was ticked off because his girlfriend spent an evening with friends instead of with him. So didn't do nothing, went and found his girlfriend, shot her, and killed her. Yes, both of these killers were black. And yes, both of them were raised without a father in the household. So what else is new? Next, we have a female basketball player. Her name is Dawn Staley. She wants a national apology from American Eagle for choosing Sydney Sweeney over Angel Reese in that advertising campaign for jeans. A national apology. Why? Because Sydney Sweeney is white. Angel Reese is not. And Don Staley wants us to know that jeans are a black thing. The first ones were stitched by slaves for Levi's. And now we have somebody from CNN, Ashley Allison. She says that SNAP, food stamps, having a massive impact on her life after she went to get her eyebrow technician to work on her eyebrows. And the technician told her they had to fire people because clients didn't have money to do their brows. They were having to spend it on food. A little picture of America for you this morning. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Hey, this is Tom Mitchell, the Honest Car Guy. So things are deceiving sometimes, and it's hard to explain how much money I can really save you. I've saved people upwards of $20,000 and $30,000. I mean, it really depends on the year, the make, the model of the car, and the price of the car. You know, on a $15,000 car, I can't save you $20,000. I mean, let's be realistic. We can probably save you $2,000 or $3,000, but it's through the course of the whole sale. The big one here that people don't realize, the financing. You go into the dealership, they tell you your rate's 9%, or really it's probably 7% because they're allowed to make 2 points on there. We found a better way for customers to buy a car, an honest way, a very transparent way. You pay what we pay plus our honest fee. We even prove it to you by giving you a copy of the bill of sale at the end of the deal. So the beauty of what we do is we don't put you on a car that we have to sell. We put you on a car that you want. And at the Honest Car Guy, you'll save an average of $5,000 to $10,000 depending on the price of the car. Call 1-844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exteriors. Quality and precision you can rely on.
Down now in day 41. Senator Jeanne Shaheen among the 8 and tells Fox,
we're making sure that the people of America can get the food benefits that they need, that air traffic controllers can get paid, that federal workers are able to come back, the ones who were let go, that they get paid, that contractors get paid.
Other Democrats are upset the funding bills that'll get votes this week to end the shutdown do not include an extension of Obamacare tax credit set to expire at year's end, but Shaheen says they did secure a vote on that.
We are concerned about the health care costs rising significantly on millions of Americans.
House and Senate votes this week would reopen government funding it through January, would also fund SNAP food assistance through next September. As the legal battle over that aid continues, a judge has blocked a Trump administration order that states to undo the steps they took to pay for food benefits. Air travel remains difficult.
Sunday was the worst flying day in this country since the shutdown began. A nightmare combination, really, of FAA mandated flight reductions plus air traffic controller staffing shortages around the country. Here in Newark, for instance, you had a third of the flights that were canceled. You're talking about half of the flights delayed.
Fox's Brian Yanis. The Newark, New Jersey airport, another 1,600 flights canceled today for 1,400 delays. Some of that weather-related snow in the Chicago area to northern Michigan. We heard from the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, this morning, taking out 2 more suspected drug boats off the South American coast.
Secretary Hegseth, in a post on X, says the vessels hit were operated by designated terrorist organizations associated with illicit narcotic smuggling and had drugs on board. He says the strikes were in international waters in the Eastern Pacific and that all 6 people on board the boats, 3 on each, were killed. That's now 76 people reported killed in airstrikes since this anti-narcotics campaign started September 2nd.
Fox's Chris Foster, America's...
This is the time of the year most of us are checking off our holiday gift list. Identity thieves have lists too, and your personal information might be on that list. Protect your identity with LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every single second and alerts you to the threats you could miss yourself. If your identity is stolen, your own U.S.-based restoration specialist is going to work to fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Make this season about joy, not identity theft, with LifeLock. Save up to 40% off your first year at LifeLock.com with the promo code BECK. Terms apply.
This month, Pure Talk is supporting Canines for Warriors, a terrific organization that trains rescue dogs and then pairs them up with combat vets struggling with PTSD. This is why I switched to Pure Talk. Sure, I like the unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $25 a month, and you will too. But you will love being in business with a company that shares your values. Dial pound 250, say micro, and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Wake up with the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3 Atlanta.
So much to cover all day today. It's been such a great show, and it's flown by because there is so much to talk about from the corruption at the highest levels when it comes to January 6th. Corruption at the highest levels in the FBI and the Capitol Police. Gosh, there's just nonstop information flowing out about that.
And by the way, overnight, you did have Donald Trump that issued 77 pardons, which has the left going nuts as well. And it's all tied into 2020, and they'll put it election deviation, election interference. Well, if all of this happens to be, and it's all coming down, if it all happens to be correct reporting, well, then all these people were just telling you the truth about what was happening.
And were persecuted for doing so.
Yes, they were.
That is as low down and as corrupt. It makes you sad to think that the place that is the Constitution-based, law and order matters, First Amendment matters, the things that other countries do we don't see here, and yet we saw it all. That's the thing that should scare you to death. That if the Democrats ever get back in power, and it's cyclical, they will, that they'll do it again.
Well, it all came in succession of waves. That Donald Trump is going to win an election. It looks like now they had their backup plan. Hey, we've got our insurance on this thing. And that's Strzok and Page. And here's what they're lining out when it came to Barack Obama and Brennan and Comey and all these co-conspirators that are all part of what's going to come down on all of them.
Clapper, too.
Clapper as well. It all goes back to Barack Obama. Then it turns into, all right, well, he's won. Well, let's get him out of there because we can deal with Pence.
Yeah, he's one of us.
Pence is one of us. Like, we'll be fine. Like, this whole operation of making sure that the outsider is not part of this, and that the insiders, the uniparty within the Republicans and the Democrats, will still stay in charge. Fine, good. We won't have this irritant that is Donald Trump. To the point when you now move forward into his administration, been marred by this whole Russian collusion, total BS.
Nonsense, completely made up. Fake, fictitious.
That by the time we get into this, some random pandemic that occurs, that then turns into drop boxes and crazy voting and mail-in voting, and having somebody like Joe Biden get 11 million more votes than
the most popular guy
than Barack Obama ever got. And before we even finished the night, Joe Biden, when we look at 2024, had 7 million more votes than Kamala Harris, who I was told was the greatest thing since sliced bread, to where California had to go find votes so it didn't look as bad. That 2020 didn't look as bad as what happened in 2024 when 7 million Democrat voters just poof disappeared into the ether. Didn't know what happened to them.
The thing that MSNBC is most excited about this morning, Los, is that there's something to talk about other than the things that we're talking about. The staging of the pipe bombs.
The January 6th entrapment, the raid on Mar-a-Lago.
All of it.
All of it being connected. All of them falling now.
That's exactly right. When you flip over to MSNBC.
Like, shutdown's almost over.
That's right, boy. Isn't this great? Woo. This is the greatest day ever.
And by the way, the Democrats didn't get anything other than, as we joked around earlier in the show, Tug, did you ever tell your son when he said, Dad, can we go to McDonald's?
We'll see.
Dad, we were at the zoo. I saw an elephant. Can we possibly buy one?
An elephant? We'll see.
Hey, Dad, I want this new baseball bat. It costs $700. Can we get one?
We'll see about that.
The Republicans gave the Democrats when they're like, hey, about these subsidiaries with Obamacare. They said, we'll see. In 40 days, we'll see.
Yeah, let's work through this first.
We'll see sounds like a no.
Yeah, no. it is a no.
Right.
It's a definite no.
Definite no.
$700 baseball bat. Can we buy an elephant? No. Can we get these subsidies for Obamacare?
No.
Absolutely not. We've told you from the get-go we weren't going to do it. And the first time in as long as I can remember, the Republicans have had a spine.
When Nancy Pelosi checks out, you notice how the rest of them are now starting to swap places. And for as much as the Democrats want to say, they don't have a spine, we'll primary them. What is happening is that the whole op is falling apart. And now it's a matter of, do you want to be on the right side of history or do you want to try and hold on to your power? And some of them will. Some of them will still get elected. But the very grandstanding, like the next thing that's going to happen, you'll see it too. Adam Schiff will get brought up on charges of mortgage fraud.
Without a doubt.
And there'll be no way to hide from that.
And he's, by everything we know, everything he's done, it all points to him being guilty.
And
of
if
that.
the inaction figure, Pam Bondi, gets off her and actually starts going after people in the way that really should be happening, now, again, build the case, let's see it. But it looks like if the auto pen stuff is going away, then that whole January 6th committee, falsified documents, it's illegal. There's a whole lot of this that should be coming down. You can take out the deep state with the biggest swing of the baseball bat.
You're telling me that they were doing something that was illegal? They had no intent in finding any of the truth? That's what you're telling me? Can you imagine, dude? The way the dominoes would fall and people would squeal like pigs on each other.
Think about what the Biden administration did on the way out. They actually put out, I think it was 5,500 pardons to try and cover everyone on the way out. Well, if you didn't do anything, what do you need a pardon for?
That's what they told us with Donald Trump in the first.
But here's the dominoes.
In the first administration.
Here's part of the dominoes. So you commit a faulty election, albeit you used the tactics of the time, cheated pretty hard. You then covered it up.
Mail-in ballots, there's all kinds of stuff.
With January 6th, in order for people not to question it.
And to keep their focus off of it.
You then created a fake committee that was made for TV so you wouldn't question anything, that then used falsified documents to try and drive home that what occurred on that day was all legitimate as far as what they were telling you.
The two Republicans that you allowed on the committee
are both hardcore Democrats.
Yeah, might as well be Democrats.
This is all just part of the silliness of the cover-up of the deep state. This is all the powers that be within the uniparty trying to make sure that they held on to power. And so an outsider like Donald Trump and the rest of the outsiders that he has around him were never in power ever again.
Do me a favor as you flip around today.
See who else is covering this.
See if there's anybody else covering this today. Because something tells me that ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, CNN.
I'll be curious about the rest of Extra.
Yeah,
right. You hear Arctic Frost only on this radio station.
No, that's right.
And even, quite honestly, even Clay and Buck don't get near it. Jesse Kelly does.
Yeah.
Glenn Beck does. We do.
Yeah.
We've told you about Arctic Frost.
I wonder why Clay and Buck avoid it.
I think that they are always, in my opinion, they don't get anything until it's part of the zeitgeist, until it's part of the mainstream media.
That they feel comfortable with it, you think? It's like it becomes so discussed, pardon me, that they feel like that they could jump in. And that's not a slam on them. I wish I understood it better.
To me, part of what made Rush Limbaugh so important is that Rush would not get into the stuff that was, I would say this, he told you what was going to happen before it would happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so he didn't have to cover it until after it happened, and he would say, I told you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he didn't have to tell you about what's coming down from Steve Baker at the Blaze. He would just tell you, here's what I'm hearing, here's why some people are leaving. And then when they all left and the news came, he would say, I told you. But he didn't get into the bread making.
Right.
He told you about the bread is going to get made, then he would tell you after why the bread was made.
Yeah. He was one of a kind for sure, and there'll never be another. He did things that nobody else were able to do.
But that show's doing the same.
Absolutely, yeah, makes sense. I just I wish they dug a little deeper. I wish they were.
Well, we'll find out today.
Comfortable digging
because if you're spending all your time talking about the Democrats,
the freaking shutdown.
Yeah,
that's if you spend the entire. Dude, we talked about that at 6:03, and I don't know that we've spoken about it again.
Because
not with any length of time.
It was going down. Democrats all over the country are now extremely upset, which is good. Good for y'all that you're like, they caved. I'm like, they never had a leg to stand on.
You don't need us to tell you about that story. That story's everywhere. They're covering it on MSNBC. Why would we talk about it? There's no reason to talk about
There's a reason why MSNBC is almost exclusively only covering this.
To avoid talking
Covering
about
the rest of it.
The things that we've been telling you about all morning long. And we're so glad that you're here for it and that you care enough about it.
I hope that when somebody else gets into it, and I'm hoping it's Glenn Beck, like I'm crossing my fingers.
Definitely.
It's got to be as far as the pipe bomber's identity.
That's where it all generated from.
Is all coming out of the blaze and Steve Baker. If it all comes down today, it should be today, it should be tomorrow. It should all be coming down.
Today, it's got to be.
But if it comes down today and we start naming the woman
which is already all over X.
It's all over X. It's all over X that the identity of the pipe bomber is known, and it's a Capitol police officer. That she was, as part of an operation, because it wasn't by herself, it looks like, was planting bombs at the RNC and DNC to be discovered as part of the ruse that was January 6th.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Her picture, all you have to do, type in J6 pipe bomber, and the identity will be
You'll see her everywhere.
It will be the first thing you see.
And reportedly now works for a 3-letter agency.
Yes.
It's like, you complete this job, here's what you move to. And if it is the CIA, remember the CIA, it's illegal for them to work domestically.
Here's another thing, dude. And you know that the FBI had zero interest in letting people know because they were part of the op.
They're part of the op. It's our job to entrap these people. We got to make sure that there is no such thing ever again as a public supporter of Donald Trump.
39,000 frames of evidence that they would not release have not released. They have so much video. This person was texting, calling. If you wanted to find them in Washington, D.C., you could use digital exhaust and find them immediately. It's their digital fingerprint, just like they could find you immediately if they wanted to.
Now, I've done this in the past when I've been in D.C. I bought a Metro card, not unlike, using one that we've got here, but a Metro card, a little bit more permanent. So when you buy that Metro card, it's not hard. You have to go up. There's some cameras. I bought the Metro card. You're telling me that when you had 13% of the total of the FBI looking into everything that was January 6th, again, 38,000 employees, there was about 5,000 to 6,000 that were all just tasked strictly with January 6th, that you couldn't identify the person who bought the Metro card, which just so happens to be the neighbor of the Capitol police officer who allegedly has planted the pipe bombs. You couldn't find the neighbor, and then you couldn't use 39,000 video images, frames of images, to go, oh, that person lives right there next door to the person who bought the card for them.
In the most surveilled city, definitely in America, if not the world. And they chose, because they wanted you to believe that this wasn't an op. They wanted you to believe that this was real, that this was an insurrection without weapons. Never happened before in the history of the world. Not just the United States. Our own revolution took place with lots of weapons. But they wanted you to believe that. And then they were able, Intel analysts were able to use this woman's gait to figure out who she was with what did you say, 96% accuracy?
96% accuracy when it comes to the walking gait.
And this is something that Intel services use around the world.
This is how we were trying to get spy satellites when it came to hunting bin Laden to get a look at his gait. Now, the problem is the way that the spy satellite was and where he was triangulated, couldn't get a shot of him. But they wanted to see his gait based on how he walked, all the video they had to identify it as him. That's how accurate it is.
And so this woman who is alleged to have planted the pipe bombs, like Lo said, worked for the D.C. Police Department, put these under the benches, RNC, DNC, then went on to fire pepper balls into
the crowd on January 6th.
And you're telling me the FBI had no idea. This is just so coincidental that this happened. They believe you're a fool.
This was the problem. January 7th, you had this report out here. And This is where I say that there's a mistake at times, accidental reporting. MSNBC had gotten wind of it. They were running with it. Those pipe bombs, in my opinion, were never supposed to become news again. And they were never supposed to be talked about.
It was just to paint the picture for you.
Yes, and then it's over with. Well, everyone's like, well, who dropped them? How can you not find these pipe bombs? Then you had the FBI that was putting out we've got a lot of money available if you can tell me who the identity of this person was. They never had to worry about it because it was one of their own. It was one of their own in law enforcement.
And I'm watching the video from the Blaze right now of the man that's broken this story. Steve Baker being taken out in handcuffs on March 1st of 2024.
Yep.
Taken out in handcuffs. You want to talk about weaponization?
He was paraded.
Dude, it was meant to intimidate anybody else that would get close or even be willing to investigate the truth.
Do not pull on this string. Again, the federal government went after Steve Baker because of parading, that he was in the Capitol, and he was. But he was there along with other members of the media, clearly identified as media. Yet the federal government ignored the others because the others weren't pulling on the string of, hey, who's the pipe bomber? That was Baker's story.
Yeah. They wanted that to go away as quickly as they could get it to go away. And the fact that he would be willing, he would be brave enough, he would be daring enough to question, he had to be stopped.
You mean what the media does, the holding the power accountable?
Yeah.
Speaking truth to power?
Yeah, that's right. Democracy dies in the dark. It's absolutely insane, dude. Absolutely insane.
So we'll see who else covers this. It's out here.
It's not happening.
No, we've had this since Thursday evening going into Friday, expecting this all to drop here over the next several hours. And we'll see.
Above the fold, foxnews.com, just to give you the other side of the story. First story, Democrats cave, Schumer, splinter from Schumer, all that nonsense. Democrats who voted to end the shutdown, Schumer needs to be replaced. I mean, there's nothing. I don't see foxnews.com. I do not see this story anywhere.
So you have to go to the Blaze and you have to go to their lower area to find former Capitol Police officer a forensic match for January 6th pipe bomber, sources say. That's where you have to go to.
Knowing what you know now, the polling on January 6th is not surprising at all. We'll run the numbers next on Extra 106.3, 9 o'clock hour. Brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution since 1999, 8779 Southern. SouthernExteriors.co. Go to the website, nominate somebody for this full-on James Hardy siding remodel. Somebody's going to get their whole home re-sided with the best siding in the business, James Hardy Siding, from Southern Exteriors. SouthernExteriors.co. Top left corner, red button says Christmas giveaway again. SouthernExteriors.co.
Neil Boortz is only live on Extra 106.3, bringing you daily commentary on the biggest topics of the day. Catch him throughout the day or hear his latest on the Extra 106.3 app.
Hey, this is John Flading, the owner of ATL Turf Co. If your grass didn't grow this summer, there's a good chance it won't grow this spring. It's time to think about a custom, low-maintenance, pet-friendly, artificial lawn that will stay green year-round. So this holiday season, give the gift that keeps on giving. A perfect backyard or custom golf green from ATL Turf Co. See what's possible for your home. Read our 5-star reviews and book your appointment today at atlturfco.com. Spots are filling up fast, so call now, 404-825-7063.
Hey, Atlanta, it's Mark from Atlanta Safe House. Just when you thought the country couldn't get any crazier, the Democrats surprised you. Shutting the government down for lame political reasons, liberals complaining of taking criminals and illegals off the street. When will this craziness stop? Well, in this crazy world, there is one place to go for peace of mind. Drop by Atlanta Safe House and let the safe experts help you select the safe to best protect your hard-earned valuables. Our brands include Browning, Fort Knox, Champion, and many more. So go by the showroom or go to atlantasafehouse.com.
It's Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers. In Atlanta, I'm going to be that guy and start talking about Christmas before the leaves are even done falling. Because I want to share some seriously special gift ideas with you, and you should start thinking about them now. This season, D. Geller & Son is all about the magic of custom, personalized jewelry gifts. Whether it's a custom birthstone necklace and earring set, or that one-of-a-kind dream-worthy ring, with your sentiment and our expertise, we can make it happen. Let's plan ahead and make this holiday season unforgettable at D. Geller & Son Jewelers. In Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPsETC.com.
Okay, who just opened your Obamacare or Marketplace renewal and almost fell off the chair? Hey, 35%, and it's not even any better? You're not crazy. They keep jacking the premium and giving you less. I don't know about this stuff, but I know who does. I go to Steven, the health insurance doctor. I send people there because he's been doing this 16 years. He wins awards for this stuff. He helps the self-employed, 1099, small business owners, the people actually paying for their own insurance. But you're going to get corporate-style coverage, nationwide PPO. How about lower zero deductibles, plans that pay you cash benefits when you use them? And he does it all around the year round there because, he's independent. He's got multiple carriers to quote. A lot of you are going to see that premium go right down instead of up. And in some cases, saving to 60% over that renewal number. He works for you, not Washington. Here's the number, 678-523-0759. 678-523-0759. Or go to healthinsurancedoctor.net. It's Steven, not a call center. Your plan, your savings, and tell him the Kibber sent you.
We're smart, we care. We're Central Heating and Air.
Fall is in the air, and Central Heating and Air Conditioning is making it the perfect time to upgrade your comfort. For a limited time, you get up to $2,100 in rebates and 60 months, 0% financing with approved credit. That's right, savings up front and no interest for 5 whole years. A brand new carrier system from Central delivers dependability, efficiency, and comfort every family deserves. Central Heating and Air Conditioning have set the standard in heating and cooling for over 3 generations. And now's your chance to bring that comfort home with the best savings of the season. These dual incentives don't come around often, so act now. Call 770-GET-HEAT today. That's 770-GET-HEAT. Or visit centralheat.com, centralheat.com. Upgrade your comfort, lock in your savings, and turn to your Atlanta carrier experts. Central Heating and Air Conditioning.
We're smart, we care. We're Central Heating and Air.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Here are your Georgia headlines for Monday, November 10th. A major drug bust in Gwinnett County over the weekend as the DEA discovered hundreds of pounds of meth in a storage facility. Authorities arrested a 47-year-old Mexican national, Marco Rosales, who officials say is in the U.S. illegally. Agents saw Rosales moving packages into the storage unit and later used a canine to detect the drugs and move in. Must Ministries in Cobb County has opened a new health clinic to help residents without insurance. The new clinic will provide access to many health care options, including pediatric care, lab testing, and counseling services. Estimates show about 1.2 million Georgians are currently living without health coverage. And the city of Roswell wants to calm traffic with a new policy. The Slow Down in Roswell campaign aims to make streets safer and more walkable for pedestrians. Officials are using data-driven strategies to decide where to prioritize and install neighborhood safety measures like traffic lights, speed cushions, and road signs. The campaign begins in 2026. Today's weather, sunny, cold, and windy with a high of 40 degrees. With your headlines, I'm Jerry Payne for Extra 106.3.
As we've told you, you already had a good inclination, a gut feeling that January 6th was not on the up and up. You already knew it. We already knew it. We've talked about it for 4 years now. It has not changed anything. Nothing that the government has done. Their silly made-for-TV show where they hired an ABC producer to make it more entertaining. The fact that they didn't allow any Republicans that have actual questions about January 6th on the committee. Everything pointed to the direction of this was a cover-up. Then we get the Steve Baker news end of last week that you're sure to hear about on the Glenn Beck program, the name of the officer that is accused of being the January 6th pipe bomber. Also, the person, if it is the same person, was it the first person to shoot into the crowd with the pepper balls?
Reportedly, she was the first person to let fly as part of her detail.
Gosh, can you imagine? You're so fired up because you know what's going on. You know what you're trying to make happen. You already, if this is right, and she's alleged, if it's correct that she is the person from the Capitol Police that planted the pipe bombs, you can't wait to be the tool that ushers in the activity that you hope happens, a riot at the Capitol. That way they never ask questions about the January or about the 2020 election again. So you're so gung-ho, you can't wait to pull the trigger, too, to make it all happen. You planted it, and then you fire the shots, too. Well, you're so important.
I would just say this. Part of what goes on when it comes to military training is you are taught to hate the enemy. You turn them into caricatures so they're easier to abuse, right?
Yep.
I fully believe that this woman probably bought into every little bit about what MAGA was. And by the time that she's selected, by the times that you coaxed her up, by the time you're like, this is what we need you to do in the interest of this country. Yeah. And then it turns into, and when they show up at the Capitol, make sure you deal with them. Well, she doesn't look at them as people.
They're the enemy.
Not at all.
They're the enemy.
So why not give them some of this treatment? Because at the time, all they were people standing behind barricades, just demonstrating. You helped turn them into what it turned into.
Rioters. The number that Rasmussen reports, you can find them at Rasmussen_poll. The number of people that believe that January 6th was a Fedsurrection sits at 65%. 65% of the entirety of the United States of America believes what you believe, that it was a Fedsurrection. They believe what you've been telling people for years. Not everybody in that 65% was always on board, but as more information comes out, as burn bags are found in skiffs, as FBI agents admit in court, yes, we planted the folders that said top secret on them at Mar-a-Lago, the more information that comes out, the more that number's going to grow.
I really hope this does come down in the way that I believe it does when it comes to Steve Baker and the Blaze, because I think that ends up being that straw that breaks the camel's back, where at that point you just can't hide it any longer. Because it's one thing to tell me there's 250 FBI assets and agents in the crowd. All right, I get that. Probably should be. I mean, they want to monitor what's going on. That's part of intelligence work. You can tell me, well, you know what? We saw people that were Antifa that dressed up in MAGA gear, and they were part of causing these issues. Okay, but not everybody has to join in. You can then also tell me that there's people like Ray Epps that helped incite what was going on. And
he's on video doing it.
And Boasberg, like
who let people off the hook.
The bought and paid for judge who was like, yeah, here's just a small. You're just give you a little. Well, here's nothing. We'll give you a 3 months probation. Like, wait, so he was always part of this? It's like, now if you tell me that you happen to have a Capitol police officer who planted the bomb portion of this, well, now we fully know. It's like this was all about let's protect the people that we're supposed to, that were tasked with creating this entire entrapment scenario. And entrapment, that's a huge part of what the FBI does anyway.
Right. The dominoes are falling, and the left knows it. Is it any surprise that Nancy Pelosi, the woman that said, yeah, I should have called in the National Guard as a throwaway statement, as her daughter filmed a documentary that day. Convenient. And then now is retiring. She's got to get away as the dominoes
Funny
fall.
how it just comes down the week that all this stuff is coming forward.
The dominoes continue to fall.
As we get to November 8th and this story is reportedly out there, Nancy Pelosi's like, time to go.
I've got to retire. Had there been even a whisper of her retirement, I'd not heard it. And then it just comes out of the blue, out of nowhere, and the same week? Come on, man.
How strange.
What are you trying to get me to believe?
How odd.
Yeah.
At what point do you stop believing? And again, I know that at times people are putting on a tinfoil hat with this stuff, but tinfoil hat is batting like $9.95.
There's a reason 65% of voters believe that it was an insurrection.
There's a reason why it's going to 85 once this stuff is out there.
Dude, if not 95.
Yes.
The only people to be, well, there'll be 18% that no matter.
18%. I can't believe that they did this.
My fingers are in my ears.
Well, for years, it's like people that depend on what they depend on. They always go back to what their programming has been. no matter how many times you make a point about the violence that is on the left, and almost exclusively now on the left, they'll always go back to the same thing. Well, January 6th
starts nearly every sentence.
Well, what happens when you say, well, that was on you too?
Yeah, that was false. That was a false flag operation. That was fake. Just like the election.
Is that the point where the because the only way you get these people to move away from their belief system, you can't red pill them. I tell you, they have to red pill themselves. At what point do you get people to look at what has gone on and say, oh, I got fooled? Like, we've already seen it after COVID. It was a real hard time, people being like, I got fooled. Because nobody wants to admit that that's what occurred.
People are still pissed.
Oh,
as they should be.
I am.
I know.
I bring it up. I'm like, do you realize how much you were fooled? I mean, I remember I started a conversation on X where I said the only way we can have this conversation is you start from the point that you were experimented on as a society. And when they couldn't go there, well, then we can't have a discussion. Even though Barack Obama then came forward, he was like, well, we just had the largest experiment on the human population.
Yeah.
I was like, didn't your Lord and Savior just save you? Yeah. Didn't he just tell you?
He told you. He
just flat out told you what was happening.
And I'm always impressed by how many people freely speak about it now. Yeah, I mean, we've done it for as long as the station's been in existence. But it is interesting. It is fascinating to see how many people are comfortable with saying it was bullcrap from the beginning.
So when does January 6th become that? Because that's the way we're trending.
Absolutely.
The polling says we're trending this way. People are starting to now understand the idea of false flag events.
It just hurts to think that it happened in America. I think that's the thing that people are wrestling with. Not that it happened, because now all the evidence tells you it happened. I think people are so reluctant to believe that it could happen in America, the last bastion of freedom on earth.
We can go back to, and if we ever have to do a story time on this, we can always do it again, because we did it maybe 2.5 years ago. We were talking about one of the greatest false flag events that never happened. It was Operation Northwoods, where when this was brought forward to John F. Kennedy, he flat out was like, I'm firing all of you for suggesting this. This was about creating a false flag attack, that it was made to look like it was Castro and the Cubans. And you're still holding on to
I'm never letting it go.
13 March 1962.
Dude, since you did the original story time, I've kept it.
This was from 2 years ago. You've held on to this.
It's such a reminder for me. Every time I open my bag and take out my computer, what is at risk?
And so that event was about being able to start war with Cuba by us hitting ourselves. That if we just attack ourselves, that'll give us the cover in order to be able to attack the Cubans.
Page after page after page after page. And John F. Kennedy had the courage to be like, absolutely not.
It's like, I'm firing all of you.
We're not doing this. This is insanity.
It was staging attacks on USS assets, domestic terror, aerial provocations, and then casualty fabrication. That we would say, they killed 800 sailors. All right, we got to go.
Yeah, and you would say that, and every American would be like, you're damn right, we're going to get them.
So the idea that January 6th is a false flag event
should surprise no one.
I'm hoping that 65%, like I said, let's get to 85. Let's get to 95.
I want to
Let's get to that point where just as COVID is now looked at as, really, you used a chest cold with a mild amount of fatalities? Well, it was 3 times more dangerous than the flu. Well, the flu is only 0.001. So 0.003. You know who 0.003 kills? People that are really unhealthy and old. Average age of death, 78 and over.
You don't think that they would do something to trick you, to lie to you, to make sure that you are never courageous enough to ask a question again? They would, and they did. I mean, just think about the two biggest. January 6th. Well, stealing an election, January 6th, COVID. All of them. They're all connected.
It was a wave of what they were able to create.
All to keep you from asking.
And every single time, it's a crime to cover up a crime to cover up a crime to cover up a crime.
Because you have to.
I mean, I thought it was funny that, and I was listening to this the other day. So when the fireman is the arsonist, and then he saves the child. Is he the hero?
No, because he's the one that put the child in danger to begin with.
By creating the fire.
That's right.
All right, that's exactly what this country did to Anthony Fauci.
Yeah.
The only reason COVID was possible is because what you were funding. And then you step in as I'm the savior. To the point where only the left goes, oh man, I'm so glad he saved thousands of lives.
Ooh, he
killed millions.
Yeah.
But he saved thousands.
Yeah.
He lit the world on fire, but then he tried to put it out.
And I don't know that there's anything, using your analogy, there's anything more low down than that. And we saw that in California where a firefighter actually started the fires.
Yeah, started fires and then I saved them.
Yeah. There's nothing more low down than that, than using your ability to create something and then to be able to swoop in to look at me.
And then
I'm the greatest.
And then gets a pardon from the previous administration. Why? You're a hero.
Why in the world these heroes don't need pardons?
Why would you need a pardon?
Well, Donald Trump's going to go after him.
Why would you need a pardon? What did you do?
Exactly. If they have nothing on you, if you've done nothing, if you're as clean as the wind-driven snow, then what's the worry?
This is such a wonderful tinfoil hat show today. As we connect all the dots. Now, here's the fun part. When all of this comes down, you're going to go, all right, now I know how to explain this to people.
Yeah.
Because you heard it here of what was going on.
Because you ain't going to see it anywhere else, and we've talked about it a bunch, and I'll say it again.
Put it on the news. You won't see anything about any of this stuff.
We've had MSNBC on all morning. They've not said a word.
This is strictly out there on X, and we'll see what happens. Because the real media, like us and you, because you're the real media too now, we're the ones that are actually interested in this story and covering this story. The last thing that you're going to get is some of the corporate media covering this stuff.
Because they covered for it originally. They definitely
realize how terrible they look.
They set themselves on fire.
No.
They're like the firefighter, the dirty firefighter.
They're like, we did it and we covered it and we fixed it. We're the heroes.
That's right.
And then they rewarded themselves with like Pulitzers.
You're everything but heroes, and you deserve nothing that you've gotten. It is unreal. Absolutely unreal. What has finally come out? Your gut was right. Your instinct was right. Your eyes and ears did not lie to you. Your eyes and ears were right. Never not trust your instinct. Never not trust your gut. And never trust the mainstream media. Ever. Even the ones that you think you like. Because if you flip over to foxnews.com, there's not a story about it anywhere. When we continue on Extra 106.3, 9 o'clock hour brought to you by Southern Exteriors. Sign up somebody you go to church with, somebody in the neighborhood that needs their entire siding replaced on their home. Somebody's going to get it taken care of, paid for by Southern Exteriors and James Hardy Siding, best siding on the market. SouthernExteriors.co is the website. Top left corner red button, Christmas giveaway. SouthernExteriors.co, SouthernExteriors.co. Get somebody registered there. You got until December 1st. When we come back, the comedy of young protesters explaining what they're protesting against. Next on Extra.
The Morning Extra on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3 FM.
Hey, it's Los. I want to talk to you about Howard Brothers because for over 70 years, Howard Brothers has been helping Georgia get the job done right. Now, what job is that? Hey, just all depends. Like, for instance, outdoor power equipment that you need. They got you taken care of. Hardware, they've got you taken care of. Service repairs, they've got you taken care of with the brands you trust and the people who know their stuff. So whether you're a homeowner like myself, or maybe you're a pro and you got your own company, or maybe you're just somebody who really likes digging into projects, Howard Brothers is your local partner for quality, honesty, and experience when it comes to getting the job done. With locations across North Georgia, stop by today or visit howardbrothers.com and see why the grass is always greener when you take care of it with Howard Brothers.
The latest sports news, powered by 680 The Fan, and driven to Extra listeners by RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, November 10th. The Atlanta Falcons are now 3-6 on the season after an overtime loss yesterday in Berlin to the Indianapolis Colts, 31 30-25. Colts running back Jonathan Taylor ran for 244 yards, including the game winner in overtime. Week 10 comes to a close with Monday Night Football tonight. The Green Bay Packers host the Philadelphia Eagles. That game will kick off at 8:15. From the NBA, legendary coach and player Lenny Wilkens has passed away at the age of 88. Wilkens is third on the NBA's all-time win list as a coach and coached the Hawks from 1993 to 2000. As for the Hawks, they're in action tonight on the West Coast as they take on the LA Clippers. That game will tip off at 10:30. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
An investment in your home is something that will pay off in the future, but it's something that you can enjoy right now. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of all Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. A beautiful new garage door, entry doors, and windows are an investment you can love every day, and they will increase your home's value, energy efficiency, and curb appeal. All Four Seasons, trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years, exceptional customer service, and high-quality work. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 SeasonsGarages.com.
Faith, family, freedom. These are the cornerstones of America and the foundation for a successful life. But today, all three are under attack. Crushing debt, out-of-control spending, and reckless policies in Washington are threatening your savings, your retirement, and your future. Hi, this is Glenn Beck. The only financial advisory firm I recommend in Atlanta is Nicholas Wealth Management. David Nicholas and his team believe protecting your money is about more than wealth. It's about defending your faith, your family, and your freedom. If your hard-earned retirement is left exposed to market chaos, higher taxes, or inflation, what happens to the life you've worked so hard to build? For over 20 years, David Nicholas has helped families right here in Atlanta fight back with retirement strategies built to better withstand uncertainty. Call Nicholas Wealth Management today, 404-890-5606, or visit nicholaswealth.com. Aim to safeguard your future today.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies.
Thousands of veterans across Georgia are missing out on the benefits they've earned through their service. The Warrior Alliance is changing that by connecting veterans and their families to life-changing resources and support. Tune into the Warrior Alliance Network, our podcast and radio show dedicated to helping veterans succeed after service. Join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. on Talk Radio 106.3 to hear inspiring veteran stories, discover free programs, and learn about career opportunities available to you. Subscribe to the Warrior Alliance YouTube channel today.
In case you haven't noticed from the flood of robocalls and junk mail, the Medicare annual enrollment period is here. You have from October 15th until December 7th to get on the right 2026 Medicare plan for you. Even if you're happy with your current plan, it is critical to review the 2026 options. You know, most Medicare plans change every year and many go away entirely. Every year, millions of people end up stuck on plans that leave them overpaying for care or worse, unable to get the care they need. I highly recommend that you call my trusted Medicare partner, Chapter. They are the only advisors that look at every single plan nationwide to make sure you have the best plan for your specific situation. Hundreds of my listeners have already gotten help from Chapter. One couple, Tamara and Dean, they called Chapter after hearing me talk about them, and they're saving almost $3,000 every year now with their new plan. So if you're on Medicare or soon will be, reach out to the good people at Chapter. Call them today, dial pound 250 and say the keyword Chapter for free and honest advice. That's pound 250, keyword Chapter.
Georgia politicians, if you want to win your election, the path to victory runs through Xtra 106.3. Xtra listeners are some of the most engaged, active in their communities, and outspoken on their beliefs, especially when it comes time to vote. So now's the time to get involved before our listeners move on to someone else. Tell the candidate you're voting for that if they want to win, the path to victory runs through Xtra 106.3 FM and the Xtra 106.3 app.
Tug and Los until 10 on the Morning Xtra. 9 o'clock hour brought to you by Southern Exteriors. Get someone registered for that James Hardy siding giveaway. They'll take care of getting a house re-sided with the best siding in the business. James Hardy siding. They'll take care of it at Southern Exteriors. Get registered or nominate someone. Register someone at southernexteriors.co, southernexteriors.co. The comedy of young protesters. It's going to get a good laugh as we close out the 9 o'clock hour before we turn this thing over to the Glenn Beck program, which will definitely be drilling down on the pipe bomber, the January 6th pipe bomber, because it's where it all generated. That's where the original investigation came from, because you didn't expect journalists to do it, did you? Not mainstream media journalists. What?
Why would the FBI look into their own?
Never. Why would they do that? That sounds crazy. Absolutely crazy. So this woman, she went out and protested against fascism. Then she was asked, "What is fascism?"
Why are you out here protesting?
My name is Michelle, and I'm out here protesting because I'm against fascism.
Okay. What is fascism?
Fascism is words hard.
Oh, no.
Fascism is
Words hard.
the authoritarian. Why are words so hard right now?
Oh, no.
Fascism is an authoritarianism that is about focusing on one demographic, right? So it's
no.
I'm out of breath now. So it's taking over and excluding the people, excluding smaller demographics, and it's squashing opposition, right? So it's a regime that takes over for themselves and not for the actual people. This is supposed to be a democracy that is for the people, but this is just for them, and that's what fascism is.
Over the river and through the woods, and never even got close to the fact that it's economic.
Wow, yeah. Fascism is economic in nature. It's not even close.
Yeah.
I mean, fascism, now we can call it a marriage, but oftentimes it's not so much a marriage as much as it's a forced marriage.
Right.
Between the state and the private means of production.
Sector. Right.
Where it's, here's what you're going to make, and here are who's going to be our winners, and here's who's going to be our losers, and here's how much is going to be available to people. And the money that is made by this belongs to the state. That's fascism.
Mm-hmm.
That's the very start of it.
She never even got in the ballpark. She couldn't have hit it.
Well, it's because they've turned fascism into, it's being mean.
That's right. Absolutely. And Donald Trump, he's mean, so he's a fascist.
Fascism is mean. It's dictators. Oh, yeah, you can have fascist dictators, but...
Mussolini.
Right. That would be your first and foremost that we've had in the last 150 years. But in terms of what fascism is at its heart, we haven't seen it since Italy back then, because no one has gone down... Now, there's people who have gone down the road of communism. Fascism ain't enough. It's like, no, we're going communism. Fascism is just way too weak.
That's right. Michelle, when the gentleman was talking to Michelle about fascism, that she is out there protesting in her anti-Trump AF sweatshirt, Michelle said words were hard.
Why are words so hard right now?
Well,
why are words so hard? Because she has no idea what words to use.
May I tell Michelle, if I was to speak about what it's like to be a woman and be on her menstrual cycle, well, words would be hard. If I was to talk about being a billionaire entrepreneur, well, words would be hard. If I was to tell you what it's like to deliver a baby in a hospital, well, words would be hard, because I wouldn't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Jackpot. And Michelle had no idea what she was talking about either. It's so funny. It's worth a good laugh just to hear them mumble and stammer and stumble around, not knowing which direction to go. But they knew that they felt so strongly about it that they were going out there because the mainstream media, or whomever she gets her information with, has told her what to do, and she complied. That's what happened. That's what always happens.
That's called getting out over your skis.
Yeah.
I try on a regular basis. There are moments when people start to bring up topics where I know I have nothing to bring to this topic outside of listening.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we play golf, and there was a moment where between two of the guys I was playing with, one is in commercial truck sales. He sells the biggins.
Peterbilts and stuff like that.
There's somebody else that was in our group, and he essentially is a miner. This is what they take materials and they send them around the country. And I'm sitting back going, I don't know anything about either one of these two.
Tell me more.
Here's a good chance to listen.
Yeah, just listen.
Just listen. She decided to show up and talk.
Yeah.
That's on you. Now, you have a right to show up.
Absolutely.
Cool. I showed up.
And she had a right to talk. But all her talk did was show you what most of those protesters have all wrong, and that is everything. I have no idea what they're protesting.
You think I know the first thing about digging in the dirt and sending it around to somewhere for commerce? No.
Yeah. Plutonium,
you think I know the
uranium.
first thing about what a corporation needs and what kind of hardware I got to sell them? No.
Got no idea.
But at the same time,
willing to listen and learn.
I'm willing to listen and learn. Now, if you want to talk about broadcasting or marketing and elements of this,
probably put that together.
If you want to talk about business, you want to talk about what's going on in an economy, if you want to talk about what's going on in sports or collective bargaining agreements or elements of the law, hey, I'm good to go. You want to talk about the Constitution? Here we go.
I was playing golf with a guy that we have a lot of respect for by the name of Gary Miller, runs Rebel InfoSec. You want to know about cybersecurity for your company? He's the guy to go to.
He's the guy I have gone to.
Dude, we've had to
asked him questions.
And he always delivers an answer. And it's something that you probably have no idea about, and we didn't either. And he was able to deliver it to you and make it make sense. He's able to make it make sense in layman's terms, even though cybersecurity is hard.
Yes, it is difficult. Yet, like Gary's the guy that when your company brings him in, he wants to know about what you have going on to improve your security. And oftentimes he'll say, there's not a whole lot of knowledge. So that's what you're paying for. When I reach out to Gary, it's because what is going on here?
We need to track something down.
Need your help. Because I guess I can pretend to act like I know what I'm talking about, but I think part of why this audience listens to our show, we tell you and we don't have any idea, but then we go find the people that do.
That's the thing that I think we do better than anybody else, is find the people that do know how to explain it to you, and either listen to them or have them on to explain it to you. And if there's topics that you want us to research and you want us to come up with, let us know. 44741-1230.
I've enjoyed when I get the random post of, hey, will you cover this in a story time?
Yeah, that's
I'm
cool.
like, yeah, that sounds fun.
Absolutely will.
And most of the time, it's always an element of how do we apply it to current day? Because that's always the fun part. Like Operation Northwoods, might revisit it at some point. It's been a couple of years. And so if you don't know it, look it up. You'll be shocked what your government was actually looking to do in order to launch an offensive on Cuba.
And it is cyclical. Government, history, everything comes back around.
Somebody thinks they're the first to have the idea.
Yeah, and I think we're right there in that middle of that cycle where things are starting to break down like they did in Northwoods or whatever else when the government's doing things that they shouldn't be doing, and now they're all going to be exposed for the frauds that they are.
I want to tell you about why Donald Trump is the danger. You say, what do you mean he's the danger? What do you mean, Los? What are we getting down into? We have now created an America where over the better part of 70 to 80 years, we have a faction of the economy and a faction of the power that expects us to have boots on the ground in a foreign country every few years and for an extended amount of time. And you can go through every administration we've had since the 40s, and that has been the case. Donald Trump is one of the first that has zero interest of any boots on the ground anywhere.
And it's my understanding, everything that I've read, everything that I've talked to other people about, is he's even getting, not cold feet, but having second thoughts about putting boots on the ground in Venezuela, because that was a real possibility last week or the week before.
Doesn't have an interest in it.
For that same reason.
Again, 70 years worth of politicians that have had boots on the ground. And the last one who really didn't want it at the time was John F. Kennedy.
Look what
assassinated.
Happened. Look what happened. And look what happened, or at least was attempted, on Donald Trump. Amazing how history repeats itself.
Funny, huh?
Or it rhymes. That's the other way I hear it. If it doesn't repeat itself, it certainly rhymes. All right, we're going to turn this thing over to Glenn Beck. If you want more of the conversation that we've had today about January 6th and the pipe bomber, listen to the Glenn Beck program. If you missed anything on our show, go back and listen to it on the app. Same way with the Glenn Beck program or any show that is on Xtra 106.3. This afternoon, Kimber, from 3 until 6, live, entertaining, Wild Marine on the Marine Corps birthday, the day before Veterans Day. So give a hand salute to that wily Marine this afternoon. For Los and Dre, I'm Tug. Y'all come back now, you hear?
Live live and local news talk continues at 3 p.m. with Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. It's the Kimmer Show, only on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
More than intelligent, it's thoughtful. Not just spacious, it's sensuous and stylish. It's indulgent, yet outgoing. Foundationals to the GLC SUV is a turbo hybrid power, intelligent digital cockpit, and MBUX with routines. Get an exceptional offer on the 2025 Mercedes-Benz GLC 300 SUV. Just $549 per month for 36 months with $5,003 due at signing, exclusively from RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this vehicle and many other models during the Mercedes-Benz Holiday Love Celebration, now through December 1st. Special lease rate available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Service through RBM of Atlanta, Sandy Springs through December 1st, 2025. Excludes tax, tag, title, and Georgia Lemon law fees. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit us at rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.